not necessarily just like what they did, but like things that were going.
We're
on.
slowly going live on everything.
Right on.
Things that were going on in their personal space and stuff like that. If personal space that was happening to them, and they would talk for 30 minutes, and at the end of it, each one of them would get like a soapbox, and they would talk for like 60 seconds or something like that, and they would just like talk about whatever the most important thing was to them. So that's what our Homer Minute feels like.
Okay. I like it.
And also, that's kind of what that Tua thing felt like at the end of the last show, was like, because we talked about all the stuff we wanted to talk about, and then it was like, okay, let's talk about something that's a little extracurricular with football.
Right.
Are ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready when you are.
I'm at the record.
Oh yeah, I thought you said we were going live. So.
Oh yeah, we're going live. I was
the
hitting.
process.
I'm ready. Hey, do you have your Bowmore port, or are you ready?
I'll take it in a second here. Let me clear this out.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Fantasy Football Theories, episode 5. It is a Friday. We managed to get it together on a Friday. Whoa. Some
up,
good
everybody?
things, some really bad things that, for week 4. By really bad, I mean I lost my game.
So did I.
I'm 0-4.
A lot of people lost Javonte Williams for the season. You know, some of those people may have traded 3 decent players for him just 3 days prior to his major knee injury. I don't know who those people are, but some people might have done that.
Rough. Yeah, I had similar experience in my keeper league, and I had to choose between Chubb and Jamal Williams, and yeah, that didn't work out so well. I chose poorly.
You chose wrong.
Well, I think we're going to kick it off today with our Homer Minutes as everybody decides to slowly log in. So if one of you guys want to kick it
Well,
off.
I will kick it off then when we have the fewest viewers because, yeah.
Okay.
My minute is depressing.
I think I got a pretty depressing minute too.
The state of the franchise.
You can't hog all the sad. You can't hog all the sad.
We have this beautiful defense at the beginning of the year. Looked amazing for 3/4 of a game, and then J.J. Watt goes out. We had a couple more injuries this week. Fitzpatrick just can't do everything on his own. And this was a team that needed to rely on the defense.
He does try, though.
Oh, my God. He is amazing.
He's
like,
everywhere.
I love watching him every Sunday.
everywhere.
But, yeah, so it kind of sad there. The hopeful part is we get to see our rookie. We get to see if Kenny Pickett's any good.
A new day in Pittsburgh.
Right. You know what I mean? But, it's hard to have any illusions about this. We are going into a 4-game stretch that is just awful.
So let me ask you, is this the year that Mike Tomlin doesn't go 500?
I can't answer that right now.
He doesn't want to answer that right now.
Odds are not good.
Because if he answers with his brain and not his heart, the answer is yes.
Oh man. Move on. Like hope. I'm gonna leave the minute on hopeful. Like say we get to see what this kid can do.
Pickens look great.
And
George Pickens look great.
Absolutely, Pickett and Pickens. That's going to be a connection.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. After watching the game, I immediately shipped a trade offer of a 1st-round pick for Pickens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if I could get that, I would have been super happy.
Yeah, I got him in the second round of my dynasty this year.
So a steal, super steal. Yeah. Who'd you take in the first?
I gave my first away last year.
For who?
Oh, I don't want to bring that up. That was a bad trade.
Come on,
let's
talk about it. What'd you lose?
It was at the very beginning of the year when we didn't know if Burrow was going to be any good or not. He's coming back.
He was coming off the knee injury.
Chase was going to take all the targets, and anyway, I was very down on T. Higgins.
Oh no!
And I traded T. Higgins in a first for McLaurin and some garbage. And,
dude!
I'm feeling pretty bad about it right now.
I got T. Higgins in the 3rd round of my dynasty startup, and I'm feeling like a genius.
Yeah. Like I say, and who knows how we'll feel at the end of the year, but yeah, right now it feels bad.
Yeah.
It feels bad.
Yeah. T. Higgins is amazing.
Yep. He's been good.
Terry McLaurin is slightly not amazing.
And I will say, I last year at the beginning of the year, I traded for him everywhere because I thought he was going to be the superstar. I had this really strong feeling about Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz.
Yeah, things didn't work out.
You bet on Carson Wentz.
Well, and this year, like I said, that was last year. That's when Fitzpatrick was going to be the man, and thrown to his
Oh, it was
outside
Fitz. I'm sorry, it was Fitz.
receivers.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
I'm sorry.
This year it's Wentz.
Yeah, excuse me. Fitzpatrick was coming to the Commanders, and yeah, I was excited about McLaurin too.
Yeah.
I mean, not. Yeah.
Not that excited, huh?
Not that excited. Not that I would have given up T. Higgins for him, but and a first round draft pick. Ooh, man.
Well, I say, I at that point you got
Give me
to
a cold
look at
shower
where
after that
this is. This is during the summer when T. Higgins is looking like garbage. He was just he did not. I mean, you didn't know how Burrow was going to look. Chase is the main guy. Just everything looked like T. Higgins was going to be down. So I chose the wrong time to trade.
Yeah, rough stuff.
All right,
All
moving
right,
on.
so on to brighter days. Let's talk about the Cowboys. And yeah, they did pretty much exactly what I thought they were going to do to the Commanders, which was not allow them to do anything. It was, rewatching that the CeeDee Lamb touchdown. Like, I'm not even sure if they were trying. Like, because it was not like it was a complete busted coverage. There was a safety that was like kind of drifting off into the distance. Oh, sorry, camera. Drifting off into the distance, away from him, rather than closing down on him when the ball was coming in. And I was just like, what is he doing? Why is he still lazily drifting out when the ball is obviously coming now? Like, I could see you just like not being there on time, but he didn't even look like he was going. So he just wasn't even going to show up to the ball. And there's a lot starting to boil up around that team. I was telling you, last week or the week before, they had their some higher up was fired. I can't remember who it was. Some operator. I'd have to look that up again now. But there's a lot going on inside their organization, so it's probably just not like a very conducive to winning, place to work right now. Like, they probably just need to clean house.
You might be right.
And it's just terrible, if you're a Washington fan, because it's just every 3 years, wash, rinse, and repeat.
All right, we're talking about Dallas,
But
though.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys are doing well. Things just keep getting better for them. Like, I don't want to jinx it too much. People are really in love with Cooper Rush. He's playing solid, but I still can't wait for Dak to get back.
I think every true fan feels the same.
Yeah, the offensive line is playing much, much better. They're not beating themselves on offense. They're cleaning up the penalties on defense. They're getting more and more confident every week. Yeah, I'm excited for this weekend.
Well, talk about something that our listeners might really be interested in. And that's the backfield there. Like, what do you feel about the backfield? How's it going to be? How's this going to play out?
Well, I predicted before the season started that Zeke and Pollard would both score 10 touchdowns, and I still like that prediction. I still like them both to get there.
Okay.
The backfield's playing out pretty much how I thought it was going to, with Zeke still. It seems like they're trying to load manage him, and so he's not gonna. I don't think there's going to be a single game where he carries the ball 20 times this year.
I agree.
If it is, it's in January. It'll be in the
Right.
playoffs. But if you watch him run, he still looks fine. And I actually, on my Instagram, a video popped up of him in 2015 when he was in college. Some big game that he had against Oklahoma. And I was like, he still runs that fast. Like, he didn't look any more special in that 2015 clip to me than he does, today. He's a little more patient now. He's less willing to just like run into piles, but when he wants to turn it on, no, he's still fast. He was never really. Like I said, he's never been a shifty runner. And then Pollard.
So fantasy wise, where
I don't want to start Pollard at all. And
Okay.
and Zeke, I want to start him in he's an RB2. Pollard is a low end flex, and he's gonna have boom bust weeks for sure. He's just capable of breaking a 50-yard play.
But see, I think most people are putting Zeke like maybe he's the flex.
I don't think so. Zeke's an RB2 for sure.
So
He's
low end or high end?
I think he's a low end RB2,
Okay.
because he's touchdown dependent.
He's
And,
20,
like,
21, 22. Okay.
So the way I have Zeke in our league, and the way that I'm going to play him unless an injury to Pollard happens, the way that I'm going to play him is in the matchups where I expect him to score a touchdown. I'll be willing to play him over some other guys that I'm willing. I have a couple of guys that I'm willing to change out for RB2. Like, to me, he's in the same range as AJ Dillon. He's in the same range as Dameon Pierce. He's in the same range as like I don't know. You probably a little lower than Josh Jacobs now after you know what the Raiders have shown.
Jacobs
the work they want to give him. It's the Raiders are just not splitting the work like we thought they were going to.
How are we doing today, Legacy? So we got 2 questions.
Questions
already.
Wow. Oh, wait a minute. He's got a homer minute. He's got to talk about the Rams.
I will, but questions first.
Okay,
Questions first.
All right. What's up, guys?
So, would you guys trade Dameon Pierce and Mike Williams for AJ Brown? First question by Legacy.
I would not. I really like AJ Brown. It's just that to me,
I'm sorry, Pierce and who?
It's Pierce and Mike Williams to get AJ Brown, and I don't think I would do that.
Especially not with Keenan Allen having the issues that he's having with that hamstring.
Yeah, he keeps missing games.
He's going to miss games. He's probably going to miss. He's missing this week. He's probably going to miss next week. They're probably going to be slow to bring him back. Like Mike Williams.
They have the bye week in week 8.
That offense
so
for a
it's
while.
entirely possible that Keenan Allen doesn't play until after week 8.
And then
I really like Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce looks awesome. Like so here's the thing.
This is the year for Dameon
What
Pierce.
I want to say about Dameon Pierce real quick is that last week in a game where they were losing, he still remained a big part of the game plan and produced. So even if you remove his 70-yard touchdown run, he still was a flex-worthy start in a game that they were losing by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's good info. Like he's getting the ball.
He's going to get the ball. They're going to you don't have to worry about that. He's not game script dependent. Like he's going to get the ball.
Yeah,
Dameon
Houston's
Pierce
not really trying to win.
To me, he's an RB2. Fire him up for sure every week.
All right, what's our other question?
second question, also by Legacy from YouTube. Would you start Dobbins, Pierce, Singletary, or Kamara?
Kamara.
Yeah. Kamara is definitely the leader. I'm assuming you're saying we start 2 out of that group.
Kamara and Dobbs probably. Kamara and Pierce or Kamara and Dobbs.
I like Kamara Dobbs there.
Yeah.
I'm very high on Dobbs this year. I've been really trying to grab him everywhere I could.
Same.
And you know what I found?
Kicking myself for not picking him up.
Everybody that has him like really wants him, like really believes in him. You know what I mean? Because I've offered some good trades for Dobbs. I've gotten nothing for Dobbins. I've gotten nothing, man.
So are you ready to move off the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're right now still in the middle of our Homer Minute segment, and we're moving on to the Rams. And the Rams played the Niners in one of their divisional rivalry games, and they still have not been able to beat the 49ers in the regular season, going on 4 years now. There's something about the 49ers that McVay hasn't been able to figure out, or it's McFleur? Who's the
Matt LaFleur?
Yeah. Okay. He just has McVay figured out.
Are you talking about Shanahan?
Shanahan, yes.
Yeah, Mike Shanahan for the 49ers. Yeah.
I don't know why I went
with
LaFleur.
With the exception of that the playoff game.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on that. And I thought about it after the podcast, and I was like, the way the Rams beat the Niners is when the defense just takes over. Mm-hmm. And if we were going to win that game, it was going to be one of those games where the defense had to just take over.
Yeah, and the 49ers game plan was that they weren't going to let Jimmy beat them. Like the 49ers were not going to let their own quarterback beat them, and he still almost did. Like that touchdown pass to Debo, it was not a good pass, and it was not a good decision. Like if he had thrown if it had been a good pass, it would have been pick 6.
There was also another one that was deflected that was almost a pick too.
Yeah, he hasn't played great at all. The 49ers defense is incredible though. Incredible.
And so we also have Stafford increasing his touchdown pass to interception ratio by 1.
You mean interception to touchdown?
Right. And that's where it's at right now, right? I mean, we don't display it that way, but that's where it's at right now.
And you know what? The killer thing is they keep happening in the fourth quarter. That's the really bad thing is like you guys are within 1 score and he's giving the ball away.
So that brings me to my initial thought, maybe my last thought on the Rams. I understand everybody's injured and there's nobody else to throw to but Kupp, but they got to figure somebody else to throw to.
OBJ.
At some point, it's just like all we got to do is cover Kupp. Like
real
that's
quick,
all we have to do.
How's that Bowmore for Allen Robinson.
I know, right?
OBJ looking now.
I was looking at some of our season longs, and I'm feeling really good about most of those.
And in Robinson, if they can figure that out, I still got a chance at that 10 touchdowns. If they can figure it out, he's got 1, right? So I only need 9 more. So that's.
Oh yeah, and so the other one's not up there. It's the OBJ versus Allen Robinson. You don't remember that one? You have Allen Robinson in that one.
Yeah, I would. If this happened weeks ago, yeah,
it was last year. It was.
Okay, this is last year. I was
so
like,
it was
why do I not remember
in the
this?
I was like,
so it was in the off season. It was in the off season. We made a Bowmore bet.
Okay.
Over who was going to score more points this year, OBJ or Allen Robinson, and then Allen Robinson went to the Rams.
Right. So now I look like I can't lose, and now it's like, well,
maybe you can. OBJ is
we're gonna have to write that one down.
A very popular pickup on fantasy football waiver wires and stuff like that. His name is starting to creep up in the percentage owned.
Just real quick before we get off the Rams, I've got one question for Ray here. Yeah. Just in your opinion, if you could right now, would you trade Stafford for Goff?
No, I wouldn't.
It's close though, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't. I don't.
No, not with that offensive line.
I didn't have to really think
you can't
about
put
it.
Goff behind that offensive line because Stafford people are like, Stafford is so good that people are still kind of like putting it on him.
I agree.
Not the offensive line
Yeah.
because he's still getting rid of the ball and he's still putting up numbers with Kupp, and so they're on Allen Robinson because he's not getting the ball from Stafford. And to me, the whole thing is the offensive line. If he had a little more blocking, he'd have a little more time to find Allen Robinson and find some of these other targets. But when you don't have time, you just throw it to Cooper.
Yep.
Just throw it to Kupp.
And I completely agree with all that. I just thought it was
Because
funny.
he's throwing to him when he's double and triple covered. But so no, if I were a Rams fan, the answer would be hell no. Still.
Right. But fantasy wise, it's hilarious.
Fantasy
Goff
wise,
is
you definitely
the
know.
guy
Yeah,
to see
Stafford
there.
is definitely on the waiver wire, and Goff is definitely not now.
Yep.
Yeah. So Goff, he still collapses under pressure. His brain stops working.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
You know what? I thought
Goff
he was okay last week. I thought he did a pretty good job of leading he had the one mistake, the pick six, but that happened early in the game. I thought he played really well, bringing them back with basically no weapons.
I kind of meant like on the field pressure, not like point pressure, right? If somebody's coming at him about to tackle him, it's almost like his brain stops working. Where Stafford will still make a decision. It might be a bad decision, but he'll still make a decision.
Goff just isn't athletic. And you know what he needs
That could be
to
it, too.
he just needs to go to the Tom Brady school of quarterbacking because he's got the same build.
More like the Eli
Brady.
Manning.
He's got the same build
Just throw
as
the
Brady,
ball
where
away.
it's like that's what Brady does. Throws it in the dirt. He just throws it right in the ground.
I feel like Eli Manning was better at it, but it might be just because he had less options.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go find a way to look at that because I feel like when Tom Brady retires, there's not going to be anybody who's good at that.
At throwing the ball away?
At getting rid of the ball when there's pressure right in your face.
I just
Brady
mean
Brady he's so good at it. He's like, oh, they're coming again. And there's always somebody right there.
Yeah, he knows where.
He knows exactly where to throw the ball in the dirt. And it's
it might have been just
grounding.
one season where I got caught up on just watching Eli Manning always throwing the ball away, and it gave me that impression. But it just
Maybe.
felt like he was always just like,
Eli Manning
Nope.
to me was the one that was good at throwing the ball away, but not throwing the ball away, like throwing up a shot. You know what I mean?
He definitely
he's-
put up some shots.
Like
so
he's
it's
about to take a sack and throws up a shot down the sideline. You know,
Please catch it with your helmet.
give this guy gives this guy a chance. Eli Manning was a good quarterback. Probably not a Hall of Fame quarterback,
Right.
But he won 2 Super Bowls, so he'll probably get there
against a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. Well, and he got one MVP
Yeah.
or 2.
I think he won both of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he has 2 Super Bowls with 2 MVPs,
Yeah.
and so he's probably going to get there. But that's a low end Hall of Famer right there.
I mean, once he gets in, it'll be the Manning bar, the Eli Manning bar. To get it, yeah. Does he pass the Eli Manning bar to get?
He's
into
the
Hall
poor
of Fame?
guy in the rich neighborhood.
So last thing before we get into the games, we've got our heads
Our
up.
bets. Okay. Yeah.
We don't have to do the DraftKings one right now, but we have our heads up bets for this week. So I bet that Craig Reynolds would have 10 carries.
I took the under on that.
And Craig Reynolds had 2. So I will be taking a shot for that.
Yeah,
And-
we should do the DraftKings one right before the
Right
DraftKings
before- yeah, I agree.
segment.
And yeah, that way we're not taking too many shots at once here. We still got a show to do.
That's much better with lemon.
Yeah.
At the end.
So since we just took a shot, Brian, why don't you introduce the tequila you brought this week?
Actually, this one is Ken.
So
Oh,
friends,
okay.
We're drinking some Tremana.
You know, your camera's having some issues.
Oh shoot! Thanks for telling me. I'll switch. I'll fix your camera right now. Is it this one? Nope, that's me. Is it this one? Yeah. Let me refresh it. There it goes.
There we go.
All right, we're drinking Tremana. Tremana tonight. This is a it's gluten free. I didn't even know that.
And every guy out there listening cares about that.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, anybody who's listening, the thing you want to that you care about is this the one that's made by The Rock, and so that's why I wanted to try it because I hadn't tried it yet, and it hits really good.
It's smooth.
It tastes. The finish on it is a
a
little
little off, yeah.
Is a little off. It's somewhere in between like tequila and vodka.
I agree.
To me.
Yeah.
And but with the lemon at the end, ooh man, I'm feeling
better, huh?
like I
Okay.
feel really good right now.
All right.
I could take a lot of those shots.
Cool.
But we did bring in something else too, didn't we? What else did we bring?
Nothing else.
Okay. If we're not drinking it tonight, then we don't
Yeah.
need to introduce
Well,
it.
No, we'll do
Next
that.
time.
Next week.
Okay.
Nothing else.
But unfortunately, you do have to bring that Bowmore over here for me.
Oh, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's so unfortunate for me.
Yes. Ken and I were playing each other in our league
And now
this week, and
I tried to help him.
Oh, God.
I tried to trade him Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
I tried to advise him
Hard
to play
pass.
Geno Smith and to play Jared Goff. And what did you do?
Well, I had Jared Goff in my lineup all week. Felt really good about it. And then I think it was either Friday or Saturday, Amon-Ra St. Brown got ruled out. And so I was just like, well, gee, Goff with no weapons? All right, I'm going to have to pivot. I'm going to pivot to a safe option. Mariota has been very safe. He's been getting 18, 19 points every week. He's in a decent matchup. Like, that's a good floor. That's all I need. That's all I need to beat Ken. And
That was not all he needed to
that's
beat Ken.
all I needed to beat Ken was 18 goddamn points. And instead I got 4 out of Mariota. So thank you, Mariota. I will now take a Bowmore. Yuck. And for those of you who do not know, Bowmore is awful. It is a
Been around since-
$60 bottle of 12-year-old Scotch. Single malt Scotch whiskey, and it is truly, truly awful.
And you deserve it. Because you're a terrible fantasy football manager.
Yes.
Is that a full shot? I'm not sure if that's a full.
I actually put a little extra in there just to make sure, and probably should not have.
We got that 40 ml beaker in there.
Good game,
All
sir.
right.
Good game. Now, so that was
I feel like I just took cough medicine.
yeah.
Like, oh man,
Well,
that is.
hopefully it is like medicine and you get better.
Dang. That was actually a really good joke.
It's funny. I won in all my leagues this week except the one that matters most.
Except the one where you had to play me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were so tough. I just had to not start Mariota.
So you guys going to do steak on that or what?
I lost Javante
Whatever.
with him putting up 3 points. And Mark Andrews put up 3 points. And you still lost.
Yeah, I know. I had some disappointments in my lineup too. Trust me. All right, so
So
I think that's all the bets to get rid of.
I think
right?
so. I think we're ready
it's,
to get
game
into the
time.
games. Let's talk about some games.
Yeah,
So
that's a good one.
before we do that, can you guys hand me a beer?
That is a good idea.
I like a beer too. So where
we could
what
really get
are we
started.
starting with?
The New York Giants and Packers. I'll roll it through here in a second. I just want to my can real quick, whichever he hands me, and then I'll say it and start the timer. Okay, so I went ahead and got these out of this is California Brewed, California Coast Beer Company, Belgium Golden Strong. Okay, so I try to get us a good little beer that we can try too at every podcast. So that's what we're going with today, and then we got some other beer too. That being said, our first game on I don't know what we should call that. The first game we're going to be talking about, New York Giants versus the Green Bay Packers
In London.
Oh, another London game.
Overs 41.
So this is the first
New York
time
Giants
I heard
plus 7.5. And go.
I heard a really interesting stat about this. So there have been 32 games in London. This is the first time that both teams have had a winning record.
Yeah, I heard that too. And if you watched like previous London games, like it's always Jacksonville or
yes.
something like.
It's always
just
Jacksonville
Oh my
and
god,
somebody.
who cares about this game?
You know, I heard a rumor that Jacksonville might have been the team they shipped off international, like the first international team. And so they were trying to get them used to the Jags.
That was definitely going around as a rumor out there.
Yeah. I don't know if that was true or not, but
I think it depended on how well it went. I think that was the
we're
determining
trying
factor there.
to ship the garbage team across the pond. That's
Hey.
fucked up.
So
Got to start somewhere.
I think this is going to be a beatdown. Like a savage beatdown.
You think the Giants are just going to kick ass, huh?
Like Aaron Rodgers is still irritated. Like he's thrown 3 interceptions in 4 games. And over the last 3 seasons, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 4 interceptions, 2 interceptions, and 4 interceptions.
Right.
He doesn't get picked. He's never thrown 10 interceptions in his career
And why is he getting picked this year?
because he's dealing with a lot of young
Because
wide
his
receivers.
weapons suck.
They don't suck. They don't suck. They don't suck. Like
This
they,
is a continuation argument
both-
from last week, by the way.
both of the rookies scored against the Patriots. Watson scored on a running play. Dobbs is catching everything that comes his way. So, and also in the NBA Jam world, Alan Lazard is heating up. he's gone from 2 catches to 4 catches to 6 catches.
There better be some touchdowns or long yardage.
He's
involved in that, or
also
else that's
gone.
not
He's
considered
also
heating
gone.
up.
He's also gone from 9 PPR points to 14.5 PPR points to 17.5 PPR points. And the 17.5 PPR point game, he did not score a touchdown.
I would consider that warming up.
He's
not
heating up.
That's
So
warming
you're
up.
not going to
That's-
start a guy. So you have no interest in starting the number 1 target for Aaron Rodgers as he's trending upward that way.
I wouldn't start him as my number 1. Like he's somebody that I'd rather be.
I'm not
start.
saying like
he wouldn't.
I'm
he
not
wouldn't bust the
saying
roster
like
on my
move
team.
absolutely everybody out of the way for Alan Lazard, but to me he's a number 2.
Okay, but I'm saying like on my personal team in our league, he wouldn't crack the roster.
You're that's. I just played you. That's a mistake.
Okay,
You are absolutely wrong. Like you're still in love with McLaurin. Alan Lazard, Terry McLaurin.
McLaurin is going to have
Alan
a good,
Lazard, Terry McLaurin this year. Absolutely.
Oh, well, that's a bet.
Put it up there.
Yes, please.
You get to buy in on McLaurin once again.
I'll do it.
And he's killing you.
We'll see.
What do you mean? We are seeing.
we'll see what the verdict is he means.
We'll see. Oh,
So is it safe to say
Terry,
we're all-
me and Terry gonna see?
Or is it safe to say we're picking all Packers on this one?
Yeah.
Brian
I think
Packers?
so. I think this is finally
Okay.
the game where Aaron Rodgers is a really good start. And,
All right.
and also, he's been trending too in 6 point per passing touchdown leagues. He's scored 20 more points in the last 3 weeks.
So Packers, Giants, sit 'em or start 'em. Who we got for fantasy?
On the Packers side, you're going to start everybody, like literally everybody, because you're gonna, like I think Aaron Rodgers is a startable quarterback this week. I think he's top 10. Start both of the running backs. I think you can start Dobbs, Lazard, and Robert Tonyan.
Now, if it's going to be the blowout that you think it is, I mean, don't you think the running backs are going to dominate, and that the wide receivers and Aaron Rodgers are going to?
I think they're going to get. I think the blowout's
a
going
little bit.
I think they're going to get there through the passing game, and so I think this is. I think AJ Dillon is going to have a better week too. The Giants have not been good against the run. I don't think there's a ton of passing volume. I think this is one of those like Aaron Rodgers is like 21 for 25 for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns. You know, and then you still get a lot of volume from AJ Dillon carrying the football because they have the lead. And then on the other side,
Well, I just want to give a counterpoint to that. I mean, I
1 minute,
I can
guys.
see how it would go that way. But in my head, it's more of a he's 220, 240 yards. He's got one, maybe two touchdowns, and then either Dylan or Aaron
I think it's a
Rodgers has
4
great-
touchdown game.
or Jones has a good game.
I think this is a 4 touchdown game for Rodgers.
I think it's well, who knows?
And so the thing is like I think when I say you can start all of his weapons, I think
if you call that, I'll be impressed.
you can. I think you can easily have him have 2 of those 4 touchdowns be to the running backs.
Did you guys mention any Giants?
Saquon Barkley.
Barkley.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Okay.
nothing else to say.
You can
there.
start Graham Gano, the kicker. We don't talk enough about kickers, to be honest with you.
I'm cool with that.
And nobody asks about him, so
That's true, but I mean,
That might be the one thing.
How many people don't? I mean, I know, like I play in the Megalo Bowl, and that there's no kickers in that league, but that's the only league I play in that doesn't have kickers. Everybody has to play kickers. So
My dynasty has no kickers.
So talking about them, okay, that's cool.
It is.
But I'm just saying, all the other leagues I play in have kickers, and I imagine that
And
most
still
of the
nobody
people
cares.
that are playing have kickers, and it's important to score points with kickers, like I did to you last week.
I might need to switch out my kicker. Next game we have.
So while he hold on real quick, while he got
One
4 points,
quarterback decision.
Well, he got 4
Deal
points
with
out of his
all
quarterback.
this.
I got 15 out of my kicker.
True skill, brother. True skill.
It is.
Next game. So we have listed here Steelers at the Bills.
The best game of the weekend, baby.
Steelers at plus 14 with the over 45
Is
and
that
a
it?
half.
Only 14.
And the money line at plus 575. And these are the betting odds off DraftKings.
I'll
by
take the
way.
Bills to cover.
Can I? I was going to say, can I get my 14 points? 'Cause if I
Yeah.
get the 14 points, I'll take the Steelers. But no, there's just no
Yes,
way.
he's going to pick against the Steelers.
What? You're not going to do your Homer obligation pick?
brother. We're starting our rookie for the first time against the best team in the NFL,
And they're playing only their second game at
on
home.
the road. Like,
Yeah. The Bills have
Give me
played
that hat. Give me that hat.
And
Give me that hat.
and the Bills have played 3 road games.
Like,
so
give me
far.
my 14
So,
points
they're
and
gonna
I'm
be-
all over.
I think they're going to be happy to be at home.
but no points. I
think-
just can't do
I
it.
think this is a thrashing. Fantasy wise, there's plenty of stuff to talk about. So, where are you at on Najee Harris?
Najee is a strong RB2 instead of the strong RB1.
Strong RB2.
Yeah, no, I think he's a high-end RB2 instead of the high-end RB1 that you drafted him as, which is a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
But
Najee
he's still good.
Najee or Zeke the rest of the year.
Oh, I think I'd take Najee there. Yeah.
It's tough though, isn't it?
It's closer than I thought, but yeah, I
Because
still
you
take
expect it.
Najee.
Because I would expect that Zeke is going to score more touchdowns.
Yeah, well, there's so much dependent on
And
Kenny Pickett
and
right
honest-
now. Like Kenny Pickett, like
Yeah.
is this kid any good? And he is going to be. He's getting thrown into the fire right now with 4 games in a row. It's his first game against the best team in the NFL, which, like I say, we get to see what he's made out of. He's definitely going to be throwing the ball a little bit. We're going to try to run the ball in the first quarter, and then we're going to be behind, and we're going to have to try to catch up.
So who do you want to start on the Steelers side?
Pickens is probably my first choice.
Start his quarterback.
You're going to start Najee though. Or do we,
Yeah, you're starting Najee, and,
So we're
and like
still
I say,
starting Najee.
but not with high hopes. Like he's going to get you mid-range RB2 kind of numbers this week is what I would predict. Maybe we'll get lucky with a touchdown or something.
lowered expectations for Najee.
Lowered expectations. That's a good way to put it. And don't get me wrong on Pickens. Like he's a possible flex play this week. Like
Yeah.
you're not like doing him as a 1, 2, or even a 3 wide receiver. Like maybe
I
he
agree
fits
with
in
that.
as your flex.
I
just
want him on-
because
I want
he
him-
could get a lot of volume this week.
I want him on my bench. Like,
Oh, and for those of you who don't know, Pickett to Pickens is a thing from college.
Yes.
And they have a connection. They know each other well, and it very much showed in the last game.
Yep,
So,
he immediately started going to Pickens.
absolutely.
Immediately.
Yeah, it basically ignored everybody else. Freiermuth
Well,
was the
actually,
only one.
so
that-
honestly, him and Freiermuth had the same
Yeah.
number of targets.
I was going to say Freiermuth was the only one, but
and so Freiermuth is a player that I think a lot of people are probably leaning on, and I think this is a week where you don't want to. Like this is if you've just been setting it and forgetting it.
if I remember right, Buffalo's pretty tough.
This is
against, tight
yes,
end.
exactly. It's crazy. They're so good, and this week is the week if you're a Freiermuth manager that you want to look at the waiver wire and see what's out there. Like, to be honest with you,
I don't know if there's going to be
so
anything out there.
I had
can you think of somebody?
this week? Yeah, actually, I was just going to go over that. So this week, Kyle Pitts is out, and I had to go through a bunch of my lineups and pick up tight ends to start for Kyle Pitts. And Gerald Everett is available in so many leagues. It's ridiculous. I picked him. I picked him up in like 4 leagues today. And these are just, and like, I mean, I don't know how many people, like the people that are listening and what kind of leagues they're playing in, but the leagues I'm talking about are, the ones you get in on ESPN or Yahoo and stuff like that, where people fall out really fast. They get major injuries. The person who had Dak or whatever, Dak gets hurt. He's, I'm done for the year. And so the things that are available on the waiver wire are just, it doesn't always make sense. So make sure you're checking every week. And also,
you never know what league you're in.
And you never know who dropped somebody. Someone could just get dropped. Someone might have just been holding on to Gerald Everett, on their bench.
And I'll say I don't see it, like in my leagues. Everett's nowhere. Like I don't see Everett
he shouldn't
anywhere.
be. The guys that you should be looking for is like Tyler Conklin is available in still
He's been picked up in most leagues too. I would think
in quite a few leagues he's still available.
Okay.
I think he's still under 60% owned on Yahoo. So
okay.
Conklin, Gerald Everett, and I like Logan Thomas better than Freiermuth this weekend.
I was very interested in Logan Thomas, but the injury news is a little daunting there.
And then on the other side, you're starting, like, I think you can start Devin Singletary. I think that's we didn't really talk about that too much. Devin Singletary's been getting a lot of the work. He's been getting more and more of the snaps every week. He's got, over the last 2 weeks, I think he's got like 15 catches or something like that. You can start.
And sorry, we were ignoring the Buffalo side a little bit because you start your Buffalo guys, but McKenzie is hurt, or Gabe Davis is hurt.
Gabe Davis, we don't really know what's
hurt.
going on with Gabe Davis. The only receiver that you can start with confidence over there is, and Dawson Knox is going to be out. The only receiver you can start with confidence is Diggs.
And then the number 2 could be what's that rookie's name, or is it a rookie?
I'm not sure who they have behind Crowder, because I know they lost Crowder. He's out, so I would bump up Isaiah McKenzie. Although I don't think he's playing. He might not, because he's got a concussion. Yeah. So really, it's just Diggs. Like, I would just Diggs, Allen, and Singletary. I think Singletary is probably going to get more work. This might be a game where they actually run the football a little more, because Pittsburgh has been a little soft on the rush defense. So next game.
All right, so we got the LA Chargers at the Browns. LA with -2, overs 47 with the money line at -135.
I'm sorry, what was the over under?
47.
Yeah. So this game was wild last year when they got together in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say over.
23.5.
Because I don't think the Browns are going to be able to stop the Chargers, and I also don't think the Chargers are going to be able to stop the Browns' rushing attack.
I think it's going to be a bit of a high score.
I think Joey Bosa is going to miss this game again. So yeah, I think this is a high-scoring game. I'm going to take the Chargers on the road. I like them.
This is my guarantee of the week.
Lock of the week. All right,
Chargers.
He's going to guarantee the Chargers.
I'm guaranteeing the Chargers.
Now Ray really wants to pick the Browns.
I just feel like Jacoby Brissett just fits in that team.
I told you guys at the beginning of the year, I was like, this is not a team that's like packing it in. Like
Well, I've always felt like he was a good, strong, confident quarterback, but he's not a star, and so like a star's not going to want to play for the Browns. So it just kind of like a good fit.
You're right. He fits this team.
He's like a star caliber almost, like he could be, but he just hasn't hit that peak, that pinnacle, and maybe with the Browns he can.
He is, I think. I think this is.
I still don't hear anybody talking about him at the water cooler.
To me, this is the best that Jacoby Brissett has played.
Mm-hmm. And I lone wolf the Browns, and it bit me, last week because of that. Because I was like, this guy's starting to kind of show something. He's getting his platform.
The Falcons, though, they're pesky.
I apologize. I'm going to circle back for just a little bit here. The Buffalo wide receiver I was trying to think of his name is Shakir. And if you are absolutely desperate in a deep league, like he's somebody that you can actually kind of throw in
stay away
and get
from
some
that.
points. He's going to have some points this week, but very volatile, but just something to think about, something to throw out there.
I just expect Diggs to have 15 targets this week.
So,
but he might not need them.
But this game, I feel really good about the Chargers here. I feel like they're a team that is on the ascension. They're kind of putting things together a little bit. I mean, obviously they have high expectations this year, and I think this is a game where they're just gonna show it. I think they're gonna kind of show that they're just a better team than the Browns.
I hope they do.
When the Browns don't have their quarterback.
I hope
basically.
they do.
Now, I agree with you that Brissett has been looking good, but somebody like Brissett has limitations, and those limitations really shine when they get behind.
What
And I
is
think
that?
that's what's
What
gonna
is his
happen.
limitations? I'm not saying he doesn't have them. I'm just curious what you feel are his limitations.
He's not like his strong points are the game management, using his legs.
He's methodical. He's
yeah,
not. He's
exactly.
not. He's not an up tempo quarterback. So
If you're looking for somebody to push down the field, though, that's what he really isn't to me.
He
Can't do the death by 1,000 cuts. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what he does. He's not going to line up in shotgun and beat you over and over and over again passing the ball. He's just not going to do that.
That's just not the kind of
Yeah.
quarterback he is.
He's going to beat you with play action. He's going to beat you with
Okay.
like well designed plays. Like you give him a good passing lane, and he's got a strong arm.
So you guys want to see
he
more
makes good
of that?
decisions with the
Then
football.
you want to see more of that.
I want to see more of them.
Kill the clock, death by
I want to see
1,000
them more
cuts.
of them
That's-
pounding people with Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and play action stuff with Amari Cooper.
Yep, and that's what's been working great.
Yeah.
So are you taking Browns?
No.
Oh, so we're all Chargers. You guys,
Go Chargers.
we're not
Go.
showing any diversity
No,
here in
not
these
at all
picks.
yet.
But just
scared.
just to say fantasy wise though, I do think this is going to be a bit of a bonanza.
Important thing is that Amari Cooper's at home.
He plays well at home.
So yeah, his home road splits are absurd.
Yeah, Cooper
his
looks
career,
good.
his entire career.
Both running backs for Cleveland look great. Mike Williams looks great on the other side.
Yeah, I think this is a sneaky Kareem Hunt week.
I can definitely see that. I could also see Chubb just coming in and dominating again.
I know.
You know what I mean?
but
Getting 28
I
touches
kind of
and
feel
just
like this is going to
200
be
yards.
the week though where Kareem Hunt
30 seconds, guys.
gets his touchdowns. I think this is going to be that week.
I can see it.
Because
There's definitely a
'cause
path there.
he's still getting the opportunities. He's just not cracked through with them yet.
And maybe Njoku,
I would,
too, is a
I would,
tight
I would definitely start Njoku because it seems like the last 2 weeks we've had Amari Cooper have a bunch of targets in one game and Peoples-Jones have a bunch of targets in one game and Njoku have a bunch of targets in both games. So I think he's the number 2 target. Like he's going to go to one of his wide receivers
Wrap it
then
up.
he's going to Njoku.
I can see it.
So yeah.
So we got a viewer comment or joke ribbing Ken over here.
my jersey.
If the Cowboys are considered America's team, then they'll be at home watching the Super Bowl like the rest of America.
We are every year.
They haven't been watching or playing in the Super Bowl this century.
Nope, not this century.
Okay, so we're moving on to Texas at Jaguars. Let me pull their information up. It's way down here. Okay, so Houston +7, over under at 43.5 with the money line at plus. I just scrolled away from it.
I would
What is
say,
that?
yeah,
Plus
this is another game
265.
that's going to be over, I think. Neither of these defenses are great. And actually Jacksonville's is sneaky good.
That's what I'm saying. The Jacksonville defense is actually sneaky
So-
good. I picked them up in a few DFS places. Or one DFS, I'm sorry, in DFS
They're,
and also in one of my
they're-
leagues.
And go.
They are an excellent DFS play this weekend. Like
Yeah,
Jacksonville
DFS, I like them.
is a great play in DFS this weekend. They actually have more interceptions already this year than they had all of last year.
I can see that.
And they going into the game with the Eagles last week, they were leading the league in rushing defense. They were allowing 55 points a game. And then the Eagles ran for 200 yards against them. But that happened in the sludge and rain. And so I'm kind of throwing that out.
Yeah, and actually, just to push back on something you said earlier, is you were saying that you really like Damian Pierce this week. I don't like him this week.
I do.
This week, I think is. A
I do
dangerous
like
week to
watching
play him.
watching this game. I'm sorry.
I think that he's dangerous to play this week.
I don't
could
think
really,
so. Like I was saying, I don't.
He
think
could end up with
he's
10
gonna-
carries and 25 yards.
He gets targets too, and I actually don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen to him. Like based on what I saw, what I've seen out of him so far, and what they're doing offensively, he's too important. Like he is number one. They want to.
And maybe part of it is I feel like Jacksonville's going to show out here. I think Jacksonville. This is Jacksonville winning by double digits. I think they're going to get ahead early.
Okay.
And
They did
and
that to
just run this
Philadelphia
game.
though.
Well, A little different. Yeah, I think they're going to do that, and then Houston's not going to be able to do what Philly did.
Now you say that, but Houston. So the Chargers got up on the Texans. They were up 24-3, I think, and Texans came all the way back, and they were in that game at the very end. And I think Mills threw an interception or something like that. But they were down 3 and moving the ball like this. They're not going to quit. This is a division game. So division games are tough, especially like when one of the teams has to be in order for a division game to result in a blowout. Like something has to go catastrophically wrong on like for one team. Like a part of their plan has to go catastrophically wrong, and so I'm not sure exactly what that would be for Houston. Because I just don't see the Jaguars defense as being special enough that like they're fun to watch. They're a fun bunch to watch, but they don't cause enough problems up front.
But I'm also predicting that the Jags are going to be playing from a lead, and I think that's going to. Like I said,
I don't think that matters. We just talked about that when somebody asked about the Dameon Pierce trade. I'm telling you, they were down 20 plus points to the Chargers. Then Pierce did all of his damage.
All right, I wouldn't want to count on that.
I don't know where this conversation's going, but I'm picking the Jags.
Jags for your.
I'm picking the Jags too, but he asked about Dameon Pierce,
right.
and I would absolutely start.
I think that's a question a lot of people are asking.
Now, I think Dameon, forget about it. Just start Dameon Pierce.
So Jags, we like Kirk. Do we like our quarterback here?
I like all the pieces on Jacksonville. I like Kirk. I like both running backs.
Well, you say you like Trevor Lawrence, but like would you start him? Like, is he a streamer value for you?
So who would I stream Trevor Lawrence over? I would rather have Trevor Lawrence than Derek Carr this weekend. I would rather have Trevor Lawrence than Geno Smith this weekend. Who's another streamer?
Goff.
I'd rather have him than Goff. And the reason I say that is because Goff is specifically going to New England. And Bill Belichick he specializes in making you do the things you're not good at. And he's like, he really humiliated Jared Goff the last time we saw him. held him without a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And so that really sticks in my mind, and I have a hard time believing that Jared Goff is going to go into New England and just like have a day. So yeah, I would rather start Trevor Lawrence this weekend against Houston than start Jared Goff. That's so to me he's like borderline, 10 to 12 somewhere in there. Like if you're a team that didn't draft a quarterback, like let's say you're the Trey Lance manager and you've been streaming ever since then, I'd rather start him than so that's the line, Kirk Cousins. I think I'd rather start Kirk Cousins.
Okay. No, I see that. And then James Robinson, I think, is going to have himself
So
a
there's
day.
some interesting. You know what? You say that.
I do say that.
There's some interesting statistics
Wait,
about
weekly Pierce versus Robinson. I'll take Robinson.
I'll take Pierce.
Yes. All right, putting it on the board. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
So there's some interesting statistics about his metrics and his yards. I think it wasn't. It was like yards per touch, or I can't remember exactly what it was. It was some statistic that was
wrap it up.
That had to do with his yards per carry. But anyway, it's gone down each of the first 4 weeks, and also the usage for ETN has gone up in each of the first 4 weeks. And I think this is one of the this could be that game that ETN actually explodes.
Okay, next matchup. We have Chicago at Vikings. Chicago's at plus 7.5. The over at 44, and the money line at plus 285 if it's on Chicago, and negative 345 if it's on the Vikings.
We're all going to be on the Vikings on this one.
I don't know why I've been favoring Chicago, but it's at Vikings. If it was at Chicago, I might go the other way.
I would still pick the Vikings.
I'm going to have plenty more time to figure that out.
The Vikings are about to be 4-1. Hey.
There's a good chance, yeah.
Who knew?
Well,
who knew?
The Vikings have been traditionally doing good for the past 4 or 5 seasons.
I picked them to win the division over the Packers this year.
Ever since they got Kirk Cousins, it's a new franchise.
Not many people were doing that. People were still just giving the division to the Packers. So
No, and like I say, I think
Wait. Who's in the pack? Oh, yeah.
Minnesota
Okay.
and Green Bay are in the same division.
I heard Vikings. You said
and
Packers.
so
for some
they
reason.
are going to battle it out. Like, I think it's going to come down to their next matchup. I think they play in week 17 or week 18. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure they play at the end of the year. So, man, the Bears are just... So, okay, here's the positive thing I'll say about the Bears. Darnell Mooney looks like he's finally starting to trend in the right direction, maybe.
I was going to say he's had one okay week,
He's had
right?
He's had back-to-back weeks of
11 points.
decent targets and high efficiency. So...
Well, he has to have high efficiency because
but he wasn't.
There's no
doing,
targets
but
in that
no,
offense.
No. But what I mean was he was. What I mean is he wasn't doing that though. He was getting targets in week 1, week 2, and he wasn't like getting catches or yards or anything.
Right.
So, I wouldn't want to start him, but I'm in the back to watching. But we're back watching Darnell Mooney again to see what's going
Just
on
to
there.
see.
Yeah, and watching Cole Kmet again. To see
Saying
if
they're on the radar again.
to see if their offense starts to wake up a little bit. Their running back situation is now a situation that I want no part of, because now you've got a timeshare. Because Herbert did enough to.
Well,
He did enough to earn it. Like, there's no way they
but
could just
isn't
give the...
what's his face out
Montgomery.
this week? Yeah, Montgomery's out this week.
Is he still out?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's out.
He was questionable the last time I saw. The last update I saw, he was still questionable.
Let me see if I can double check that. But yeah, I think he's gone for this week.
Yeah, so if he's out, you can
Herbert
start...
looks a little more
You can
interesting,
start
right?
Herbert as like a RB2 maybe, but there's a bunch of guys I'd rather start than Herbert this weekend. Like, I'd much rather start Dameon Pierce. I'd much rather start AJ Dillon. I'd much rather start who's somebody else in that range.
Ooh, are we
I'd
running
rather-
out of gas
I'd-
on this game?
I would rather take a shot on ETN. Well,
Sorry, I'm looking up
There's not a whole
injury
lot of
news
gas
here.
for this game, and then so that was we're trying to gas up the Bears, and then because on the other side, who you're playing. Like, you're going to play Justin Jefferson, you're going to play Dalvin Cook, you're going to play Adam Thielen. I probably wouldn't go any farther than that though. Like, if you're streaming quarterbacks, I like Kirk Cousins. He's at home. It's at 10 in the morning.
Right.
So there's not a whole lot. There shouldn't be a whole lot to worry about there. And then that's pretty much it.
And Montgomery, the news that I'm looking at, to me, the wording of a lot of the things and that it's an ankle makes me think that he's probably not going to be in. And if he is, it's going to be limited. But that's just my best guess at this point. It is not official.
I'm really cooling on like playing anybody on that team at all. So
I can see that.
So we got an extra minute and 30 seconds.
we'd like to thank our
Because
sponsors.
yeah, okay. So again, we're drinking the California Coast. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Facebook. We're doing the Facebook thing now too. So if you're listening on the podcast and you're like, hey, I want to get some questions in, come over to the YouTube or the Facebook channel on the next episode and get your questions in.
I was going to say, and if you're out there, please ask the questions. We love the questions. If you have some who you want to start in your lineup questions,
start
anything
questions
like
are
that.
fun. A lot of fun.
Whether you should pick somebody up, all that good stuff. Trade questions, we love it all. So.
And then I'm Clouded Jester on all social media. Ken, can you do your plugs?
Ken Against the Clock on Instagram and Mr. Goodbet on Twitter.
And social media sucks.
That's how you find Brian. You just
Yes.
search social media sucks.
So I'm going to go ahead and reset the clock so we
Picture
can
of
move
him
on to the
smiling.
next game. So we're all picking the Vikings?
We're all picking the Vikings. We have not differentiated at all yet. This is the first time this has happened this year.
Okay, so next game up, we have the Lions at the Patriots. Lions are +3.
So I think
Over under at 45.5. And the money line is +135 if you're on Lions and -155 if you're on the New England Patriots. And go.
I want to pick Detroit so bad right here. Like, honestly, if I had better knowledge of Amon-Ra St. Brown right now,
When was the last time Bill Belichick was 1-4?
Okay, I mean,
When was the last
but
time he was 1-3 though?
To me, stats like that don't have any bearing here. Like, it's
They
how good
do.
is
I
this
think they
New
do.
England team?
You know,
versus this Detroit team?
for me, the stats reset when Brady left.
They reset every year.
He didn't have Brady in
That's true,
Cleveland
too.
either.
Huh?
He didn't have Brady in Cleveland. So yeah, I would
No,
guess
he
it was
didn't.
probably when he was in Cleveland the last time he was 1-4. But yeah, so
No, I think we
this is
brought up that season.
So
It's
this
like,
is
well,
like
that's where it
last
was.
week when I asked you, do we see the Raiders going 0-5 because of the situation they were in? And you were like, yeah, I do. And so and they didn't though. They won.
Okay.
So anyway,
No, but they could have very well.
That's not a
They
good
could have
argument,
very
Barry.
well went. Oh, fine.
but
Weren't they trailing too at some point?
So here for me, my perspective on like picking games and stuff, just predicting things like that. You can't always just look at each game as though it's like in its own. People say that like this game you can't compare this game to a game that happened 10 years ago to a game that happened 20 years ago. And it's like, no, I don't. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to say that this is exactly like that game in any way. What I'm trying to say is that the world works in patterns. Life works in patterns and in cycles. That is fact. And so when you look at things, I like to take like a bigger view sometimes on stuff like that when making especially when it's presented to me as obvious as it was like last week with the Raiders. It's like, do I really think the Raiders are going to do that? And it helps me make a decision. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. And I honestly, I try not to think that way. I very much try to, what is this team like? What is that team like? What are the factors from this year?
I think
if I'm going back more than 1 year, I feel like I'm making
I don't
a
know.
mistake.
This is like non-football, but the universe works in mysterious ways. There's all kinds of weird things that
Juan
that
C
happen.
from YouTube is just saying, "What's up? you
What's up,
guys?"
Juan?
What's up? I think Juan did pretty good in his couple of picks that he made last week, by the way.
he did.
Yeah,
He did.
Good
Yeah,
job,
Juan,
Good job.
give us some feedback, man.
job,
How
Juan.
did we help you out
You,
last week?
you probably shouldn't start Trevor Lawrence against the Eagles, though.
So we're still talking about the Lions and the Patriots.
Yeah, so Amon-Ra St. Brown is likely to miss the game again. DeAndre Swift is not going to play. So Jamal Williams is a fire him up starter. And then I still like Josh Reynolds a lot. I think people are still sleeping on Josh Reynolds.
But so where would you put him? I mean,
Oh, he's wide receiver 3 for me.
not even flex. He'd wide receiver
Yeah,
3.
not even flex, wide receiver 3.
Ooh, that's a strong take.
Because,
That's a
Hey,
strong
Juan,
take.
we went on that Seahawk pick, didn't we?
Like in our league, there are no less than 6 teams that should be starting Josh Reynolds as their wide receiver 3 over the guy they're starting.
Okay, I mean, I'd have to look, but maybe. I do think you look at him a little.
Okay, so
how many points did he score last
There's
week?
a team.
What was the stat line?
Hold on. There's a team that's starting Drake London, Amari Cooper, Dobbs, and Lazard. There's a team that's starting Chase Claypool as number 3.
Ouch.
There's a
That's from the Steeler fan.
So yes, that's what I'm saying is like because people still like stick to pedigree, like, and if Brandon Cooks, if you're starting Brandon Cooks, you should be starting Josh Reynolds instead of Brandon Cooks. Absolutely.
I thought Brandon Cooks has been staying pretty steady.
He had I think he had a touchdown last week.
I like Cook's numbers are actually pretty good. I remember looking at him
I don't
earlier,
think
going,
so.
"Wow, I thought it was."
I'm pretty sure people.
No, okay, he did have one bad week.
He's one of the people that guys are upset about because they took him in round 5 this year instead of round 8.
15. I'm leaving out the decimals. 15 points, 9 points,
seconds.
4 points, 18 points. So
Yeah,
kind of
the-
hit it. Not,
the-
I mean,
The 9 and 4 are not
a really good wide receiver 3,
And
low end wide
Josh
receiver
Reynolds
2.
has been in the teens the last 3 weeks, and I think he had over 20 in one of them. I think he was 25 points last
We
week.
do have a question. You guys are ready?
Excellent.
Cool, yeah. Question
Okay,
it up.
so I'm going to go ahead and pause the timer here.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to let this round expire here. 4, 3.
Do we want to make picks on this game and then get to
Yeah,
the question?
let's do it. What's the picks?
Patriots.
I'll take the Patriots.
Yeah.
All
Too many
right.
injuries on the Lions side, or else
I'll
I'd
take
be
the
going the other
Patriots.
way.
We need some diversity here
Yes,
in these
we do.
picks. Okay, so our question by Josh Canby off of YouTube. And
What's up, Josh?
He's returning. Hey guys, are we just assuming Kamara is going to play? And,
Let's not do that ever again.
and any info on Amon-Ra's designation?
So Amon-Ra St. Brown's his situation is very interesting. I think he really wants to play.
Yes.
And I think Dan Campbell really wants him to play. I don't think they're going to let him play. I think he's going to be out.
I agree with that. I think that's the take.
I went to avoid a Kamara-like situation like we had last weekend. Anybody else got hit by that. Like in my dynasty league, the owner that I just traded Kamara to, he didn't wake up in time to switch Kamara out. In the league that I'm in with my buddies, I forgot to switch. I didn't get a chance to switch Kamara out.
Sorry, quick funny story. I actually woke up at like 2:30 in the morning for no reason. Had to go pee. Went pee and went, let me check that. And I checked it. Saw it was out and swapped him out of my two leagues, dude. Like, I got super lucky.
So lucky. Man, that's funny. Yeah, so I think you could have a similar situation. And to avoid that myself, I just went and swapped them all. I took him out of all my lineups today. So I'll check Sunday morning, and if he's going to play, I'll try and go back and put him back into the lineups. But I would, if you're somebody who's like, you might miss Sunday morning, like if Kamara caught your pants down, then I would definitely just pivot now.
Yeah.
And Josh Reynolds is a great pivot. Like there's a great chance that Josh Reynolds is available in your league. Pick him up, start him. Like if you have him on or St. Brown, pick up Josh Reynolds.
And ankles and knees are always tough. Like even if they do come back, a lot of times they're limited. Those are tough ones right there. Like say St. Brown, if I had to bet this week, I don't think he's going to be in.
Yeah, and we want him back
And
healthy.
what was the other side of the question?
Will he be active? Is what he means.
Yeah, no.
We don't think so. But,
Kamara was the other part.
Oh.
Any info on Amon-Ra's designation?
Yeah,
that's what we were talking about.
That's what we were talking about. And then the Kamara situation is actually the Kamara situation is kind of troubling. Like the news that came out this week about it, because apparently he's got the same situation that Justin Herbert has, where he's got a cartilage issue in his ribs, and it's just going to be like a pain tolerance thing, and it's possible that he's just week to week, and that that what happened last week, that's not the last time that happens this year.
Right.
Like you could wake up on Sunday morning and Kamara just doesn't play.
But what about this week? You think this week?
I'm never.
Like you think it's that touch and go?
I think because I was so in last week on playing it.
Yeah.
I watched the entire Saints Panthers game. He didn't leave the field for injury or discomfort. He showed zero. I had no idea that he was hurt. So he goes through the whole week, and then now he's too hurt to play. How do you predict that? You can't.
Right.
So he wants to go. He said that he wants to go, but for him, it's got to be like he's not hurting the team when he's out there. He doesn't want to be a detriment to the team, and it's like, how much is it affecting him? It must be quite a bit.
Yeah. I'll just say that the articles that I've read this week, like I would be confident, or at least somewhat confident in him this week.
Yes.
Like
this week. Yeah.
Like I've got him in two of my 4 leagues, and I put him in the starting lineup. And check in Sunday morning. Yes, for sure.
I'm still Like if I'm somebody who's got Kamara, then I'm definitely setting my alarm before his game designation every week the rest of the year.
But if he's
trading him,
I will start him with confidence this week.
Try and trade him.
Yeah. If you can get full value.
Yeah.
So.
If you can get somebody to trade you Saquon Barkley,
Still crowing about that. You got to bring up all the other stuff that you threw in there.
I'm so happy. Like I lost Josh Allen in the deal.
Yeah.
But hey,
that's a big piece.
I did, but you know what? Fantasy Pro says I won. So they're pretty smart guys.
Fair enough.
And I didn't consult that trade chart until after I made the deal.
Yeah.
So
drive yourself nuts doing that.
Yeah, I was really happy afterwards. I got to tell you about a trade offer I made for Aaron Rodgers, because I tried to I made the upgrade from Kamara to Barkley, and I lost Josh Allen, but my plan was to just replace him with somebody who's like Aaron Rodgers available. The guy who has Patrick Mahomes also has Aaron Rodgers.
We got Wadabizi finally checking in for the night.
Wadabizi. What's up, dude?
Metcalf and Olave have been great for him so far.
Yeah, they have. That was a good call last weekend.
Yeah, both late round picks that are kicking butt. That's
That
for
was
sure.
the one that I was the happiest about. Was telling people to start DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one worked out. I think I was a little dubious on that one. Like, I wasn't against it, but I remember being like, oh, I don't know. But no, absolutely. So, all right. So,
Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
I did not think this thing was to be as loud and annoying as it is. All right, so I'm going to get this taken out of the room. Our next lineup is Seahawks at the Saints. Let me go ahead and pull up those lines for us. Where are you guys at? Here we go.
This is a
Plus
tough one.
5s for the Seahawks. The over 45, over under 45. Plus 195 is the money line if you're on the Seahawks. And if you're on the Saints, it's minus 230. And...
All right. Feels like there could be a few points scored in this game, but also the records look a little deceiving here. I think the Saints are the better team by a fair margin, and I think at home that's going to show. I really expect the Saints to win in a pretty decent fashion here. Seahawks, though, let's say we were just talking. DK and Lockett are just better than we thought they were going to be. Penny too.
The big thing is, so Rashad Penny didn't surprise me at all last week. I'm pretty sure I said exactly what he did was a possibility that he could.
Oh, possibility.
I
Okay,
15 carries, over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was exactly something that he could do, but
way outperformed what I thought he was going to
did
do.
it.
I will say
It was to me. I was like, that's the game that I expected to have seen at least once already this season. The fact that we didn't see it until Detroit makes me not trust it at all, because everybody's running on Detroit. Everybody is running on Detroit. So I have. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't move the needle at all for me on Rashad Penny.
Okay.
Is that fair?
yeah. Surprising, but fair. Because I think that's what last week is what moved the needle for most people. But I'm still
in
just
our
like,
league, the owner that got him spent up a lot to get him off the waiver wire because he'd been dropped, and he'd been sitting there though. He'd been sitting there on the waiver wire, so it's not like people were running to get him. And then he has this boom game against the Lions, and then he gets paid for. And I didn't make a bid.
I didn't either.
I didn't try and get him because, like I said, for me that didn't move the needle. I'm still like, maybe I'll pick up Kenneth Walker on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Before games start, maybe I'll pick up Kenneth Walker and see what happens.
I've got Walker in a league or two.
Yeah. So I wouldn't buy too much into that. The Saints are supposed to have a tough rushing defense, but they haven't really been that great this year.
Been deceptive.
They gave up a bunch of rushing yards to the Falcons in week 1. And then since then they haven't been really tested. They gave up over 100 yards to McCaffrey. No, almost 100 yards to McCaffrey. And then the Buccaneers haven't been able to run the ball at all.
Like I say, they've had so many weapons missing that they're just kind of they're just trying to piece something together. So.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I honestly don't know how good the Saints' rushing defense is, and I think that's the big key. Because I think if the Saints' rush defense is able to bottle up Rashad Penny, then I think that this is the game where Geno comes back down to earth a little bit and plays.
But you're going to start both Seattle receivers, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're starting. Yes, in every game.
So what about Penny? Do you feel like you're starting him this week? Is he?
I don't want to start him.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can.
You're hoping to keep him on the bench,
he's flex worthy. I think.
right? You can put him in the flex if you need to, but you're hoping not to.
I feel like you should have a better option in your
Yeah.
flex. There's got to be if you're in let's say you're 2 receiver leagues, you've got to have a better option, and maybe a 3 receiver flex league, he might be your flex, but you should have a better option than Rashad Penny this weekend.
We agree on that. All right, so other sides, Olave looks good.
Olave looks insane.
Yeah,
I love it.
Michael Thomas is going to be out again, so watch out there.
Shocking.
Yeah,
Michael Thomas missing time.
but Olave is looking good. Kamara should be back.
Should be back. Fingers crossed.
Who do we got in there? Quarterback? Do we even know?
We don't know yet. But honestly, I don't think it matters.
We're already picking the Saints, and we don't know.
And
so.
as far as the fantasy prospects are concerned, I don't think it matters.
I agree. I do agree.
It'll be Hill. Huh?
So actually, I take that back.
Actually, isn't it Dalton?
If it's Dalton, then Kamara is a much better play. I think. I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
And if
the
it's
checkdowns.
and if it's
at the
Winston,
Saints.
then I think I kind of like lowering expectations for Kamara. But if Dalton is going to play, then I'd expect Kamara to have like a 20-point plus fantasy day.
All right.
In full PPR.
I like that.
You would. You need him to go off.
We got a question. Josh Canby, is there a reason Kamara is not performing? Is he just breaking down now, or do you think he will have a breakout game
No,
soon
I
and
think
bounce back?
honestly, we talked about this last week in the Panther after the Panthers game. I thought he looked great.
Yeah.
I really think the issue is that when Jameis is back there at quarterback, Jameis is just not looking to throw him the ball.
Yep.
He's not looking to check it down. He doesn't like to check it down. He wants to chuck it up. And Kamara isn't running wheel routes. He's running flats and stops.
And if you really watch when Kamara gets the ball, he looks good.
He looks good.
He doesn't look washed.
No,
he doesn't look
no,
slow.
he
He,
looks
doesn't look
fast.
he looks good.
He looks fast. He looks
So-
strong. He looks quick. Like he
I
looks
honestly
great.
think it's the Saints coaching staff really trying to figure this out. You know what I mean? I think they're trying to figure out how to use Kamara, and that's going to be a process. And I think they're figuring
I've got
it
a
out. They
suggestion.
will figure it out.
Give him the ball.
Yeah. Well.
Give him the ball.
Amen, brother. Amen. But give him the ball in space.
Yeah, so I don't think-
design plays
If
for
you're
him. It's-
so now, having said that, I am fading Kamara in fantasy football just in general. I had him in my dynasty league, and I keep bringing that up. I shipped him off. I was terrified that I wasn't going to be able to get out of him because I don't think that you're going to get RB1 out of Kamara again.
You're fading him as
honestly,
a long-term value, but
and
in
this year-
places he's going to have.
And this year too, because I'm fading him this year too, because I don't want to put up with that every week. We talked about this. We don't know.
We should move on,
We are in a
guys.
point now where he's got an injury. We know is not going to heal properly this season.
So between
He's-
the rib injury and then the suspension next season,
Yes.
he's definitely risky long-term.
Yeah,
like
definitely. You definitely want
completely.
out of him in dynasty for sure.
Or
and
pick
it-
him up on the cheap.
Or pick him up on the cheap if you can. I guess
you can,
like if somebody is really if you're in a dynasty league and the Kamara manager is really upset about having him and complaining, maybe you can get him on the cheap. But that's probably difficult. And then, what I would try and do is like, if he has a big game this weekend, try and sell him.
Yeah.
Like try and get honestly try and get like Josh Jacobs plus.
Yeah. With that information on the injury, that might be worthwhile information.
Yeah, the
So.
injury scares the crap out of me
But,
for his
but
season long
for this
prospects.
week, we're all taking the Saints. Is that right, or is
think
anyone
so.
going to go lone wolf on the Seahawks?
And I-
I'll take the lone wolf
He
on
did
the
it last
Seahawks.
week and it worked.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the lone wolf on the Seahawks because I need them to lose.
Good fantasy analysis right there.
Hashtag analysis.
And so they probably won't.
Yes, this is my actual favorite game of the weekend. Finally,
So before we get to the final game of the week that we'll briefly talk about, I'm just kidding. We have a question from Nick Forsett. I think this is the first question we've ever got from Nick.
What's up, Nick?
Hey, Nick.
It's coming in from YouTube. Juju and Michael Cater for Scary and Terry,
oh man,
or Scary
I'll
Terry.
let
Is that Nick?
I'll let the
Okay.
Terry McLaurin lover answer this one.
Okay, but it was Juju and who?
Juju and Michael
Michael Carter.
Carter.
Oh,
He
okay.
put Cater for Scary Terry.
No, you keep Terry McLaurin.
No. He's getting Terry McLaurin.
Oh, if you can get Terry McLaurin for that, for sure. Yeah.
I knew he was going to say.
I mean, look, you're giving up garbage.
I don't disagree with that. If you can give up Juju and Michael Carter, who I think is an expiring asset right now,
Yeah,
I think the Breece Hall rocket ship is starting to take off.
Absolutely.
I actually, this is like one of the times where I'll actually buy the McLaurin side, and I'm not the McLaurin apologist.
Welcome to the fold, brother. Welcome to the fold. All right.
So yeah, that's a good trade. If you can get McLaurin, that's a good trade.
All right, so moving on to the next game, and we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try pumping our timer straight into the feed. So,
Ooh, nice.
Let's see if this works. All
You're
right,
gonna mainline the timer. You're gonna pump it right in. We're gonna mainline it.
yeah, we're gonna see if it works. I don't know.
All right, let's talk about this game.
Hopefully, it doesn't blast us in the ears here in a bit. Okay, so Dolphins at the Jets. Dolphins minus 3.5 with the
pause the
over
timer
under
while we
of
talk about this
45 and minus 175 for the Dolphins, plus 150 for the Jets. Go.
Can we pause the timer for this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Ken's taking a timeout.
So, my favorite game last weekend to watch, the one I couldn't wait to watch, was Pittsburgh and the Jets. I'm sorry to my buddy here. Like they just happened to be playing the Steelers. It had nothing to do with them beating the Steelers. I was really
You mean one of those
excited
loggers.
to see what Zach Wilson was going to do coming back. Yeah. Because there's just been a lot of talk about him. Like people were writing him off already. They were like, people were already like projecting him to come in, stink, and the Jets be on the path of new quarterback. And so after watching him in that game against the Steelers, everybody can shut the hell up if they were talking about the Jets needing to get another quarterback. They got one. This guy can ball. Like he did so many things that impressed me in this game. It was unreal. His ball placement, just next level. It's so good. He was hitting guys that weren't open in the game. He was constantly progressing from reads 1 to 4 and finding guys while maneuvering in the pocket. There was one play, my favorite play of the game was the failed lateral where he pitched it to Hall or Carter, whoever it was. I think it was Carter, and then Carter throws it back to him and he missed it. And so he had to go and scoop the ball up. Most players scoop that ball up and then just try and run forward and get tackled immediately and take the 7-yard loss. He picked the ball up and two-hand shovel passed it forward, avoiding the 7-yard loss and the intentional grounding. And I was just I stopped. That was a great play. That
was a panicked in the mode.
No, he didn't panic though, because he made the smartest play he could have made. That was the smartest play he could have made right there. Was to grab that ball and throw it so that they didn't lose any yardage. And what happened was they continued, stayed on schedule, and got the first down, and they scored on that drive. That was a big play.
Okay.
He did a bunch of stuff like that throughout the game. I was super impressed with Zach Wilson.
I'll say that to me that's a bad example, but I do think that Zach Wilson actually played well. I watched the game and he definitely made some throws that he shouldn't have made. He definitely showed some poise that I didn't think he would show. I will definitely give you all that. He was better than I thought.
There was one play in the fourth quarter. Where they were I think they were right at midfield, and he went through all of his reads. You could you watch the replay from the end zone and you see him go, you can watch his head go from 1, 2, 3, and then he gets pressure and has to maneuver around in the pocket, and you see his head swivel to the left and find his running back out of the backfield. And I was that's a really good play. Daniel Jones doesn't make that play.
Right.
Baker Mayfield doesn't make that play. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't make that play.
Yeah.
Jared Goff doesn't make that play.
I'd want to see a couple more games of it, you know what I mean, before I really got on that bandwagon. But I will say that he looked good in this game.
He did it in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh against a wounded defense. No, I know, but
they're the Jets, though. There was a point in this game where if you're a Jets fan, it was 20-10 in the fourth quarter. There's about 8 minutes to go.
Looked like it was over.
Yes, and this is it. Okay, the Steelers are going to get the stop right here. Maybe they go down and score and really choke them out, but the game's over.
Yep,
game's over for sure. Except for it wasn't. Not this time. And that's something.
Okay,
that doesn't happen.
We do have a question
for the Jets,
and it's a very, very open-ended, vague question.
Sweet, we like those.
All right.
What's a good flex for this week?
Good flex.
A good flex.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys shot me up with all that tequila and stuff.
And we've been talking a lot. Honestly, a question that open-ended, I'd say you really kind of have to listen. There's no way we're going to be able to throw out.
So give me your top 3
there's
flex.
30 that we could throw out there, and it all depends on
what are your top 3?
What you're talking about.
Let's do that.
Well,
you do your top 3. You do your top 3.
So here's why it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's really hard to narrow it down to that, because you have to be talking about are we talking about a 10-person league, a 12-person league, a 16-person league?
So dependent.
Let's do 12.
In a 12-man league, Like
unless he tells us otherwise, let's do 12.
Your flexes are players like at this point, a flex is somebody you're probably picking up off the waiver wire to fill from an injury. Like you have an injury on your roster, you've moved someone who was a flex into a primary position, and now you have to pick up a flex. My favorite pickup right now is Josh Reynolds. It's not close. Like how he's still on the waiver wire after what he's doing, I have no idea, but he should not be. Like that, and he is a flex-worthy player because he's not somebody that you expect to just 8 catches and 100 yards and a touchdown, like where he's going to do that 6 times in a year, like your A.J. Brown, your Devontae Adams, your Jamar Chase. But he's doing that right now. He's producing 6+ catches, 75+ yards, and he's scoring. So, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is likely to miss this week. So that would be my favorite. I think that's the best answer I could give to that because he's somebody who's widely available.
And I like that answer. I'm trying to think of like who flex people for me would be. I mean, we're talking like Jamal Williams. We're talking
except for
Jeff
Jamal
Wilson.
Williams is a top 5 running back this year.
No, but that's not, no. I'm saying that like these are the guys that you picked up and that you're throwing into your flex position right now.
Like this is
like the Herbert, like Jeff Wilson.
Also, a good answer for that is like players who are fringe. Like that we talk about that are heating up and stuff like that. So like maybe you're not completely sold on Allen Lazard yet. And we talked about that. So Allen Lazard is a good flex.
Yeah,
like if you haven't put him into your lineup yet, he's a good person to put in your lineup.
But my first point on this was that honestly, this to find out who just in general who good flexes are, my advice would be to listen to the show.
Yeah.
Because as we go through, every game we're given this is what we think. These are the flexes. These are this. And listen to the show, and I think you'll get a better answer than what we're given right now.
Anytime you want to just tell us, you can just tell us your roster.
Yeah.
And we'll give you advice on your roster.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, tell us who your choices are. We'll give
absolutely,
you
man.
who we think.
And
so Juan, give us your roster so we can give you a little bit of a better idea.
Oh, that was
your
Juan
flex.
that asked that?
Yeah. So we got another question from the Chosen Rose. I don't think we've had a question from Chosen Rose before.
I don't remember, but welcome.
This is coming from YouTube. I got this trade. I trade Josh Jacobs and Zach Ertz for Travis Kelce. I have a Eckler, Chubb, Pierce, and Penny.
You win.
I like Josh Jacobs as a flex.
Yeah, you won that trade.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Like there are 3 tight ends that you can start every week, and Travis Kelce's the best one.
Yeah, and Kelce just like he is going to kill it in that offense. The way
Yeah,
it's designed right now.
Earlier, I told you that
he's going to be great.
The guy in our league scored 170 points, while his 3 starting wide receivers combined for under 30, and his quarterback scored 16. The way that he did that is he has Travis Kelce.
Right.
Because Travis Kelce is just going to get you 18 to 25 points. That's just what he does every freaking week. It's ridiculous. And he's through 4 weeks, he is the only receiver that gets targets from Patrick Mahomes every week.
Yeah, no, he like I said, the offense is almost designed for him. At this point.
That was a great trade.
So, are we ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
All
unpause.
right, so I'm going to reread the game. So we have Dolphins at Jets, just to kind of reset everybody. Dolphins at Jets. Dolphins minus 3.5. Over under is 45. If you're betting on the Dolphins, the
Can
money
we just
lines.
rename the Jets to Milf Bangers?
if you're
Hello.
I'm tired of this.
the money line is
I'm tired
minus
of this.
175 for the Dolphins and plus 150 for the Jets. Are you ready to say go or no? And
Go.
I got tequila.
Okay.
Go.
I'll let him clean up over there while I say a few words. I am not as high on the Jets as he is. I do think they're an improving team that's starting
We can't
to look
all
good.
have great vision.
Miami, to me, is definitely a team that's on the ascension.
I don't agree with that either.
Wow. Okay. I think obviously Bridgewater is a decent step down from Tua. I think Tua is surprisingly good. But I think that Bridgewater and that offense, I will caveat if Hill plays. I think Hill's going to play. But if he doesn't play, then that could be a big problem there. But I think Bridgewater is going to be able to come in and run that offense effectively. and do enough to get the job done. I think the Dolphins are going to win that one.
And see, I don't think that.
I think we could tell by your analysis.
Well, the thing is about the Dolphins is that they can't run the ball at all.
But their offense is almost designed that way. They knew that going in.
And to me, it's just like, so we're 4 weeks in, and what typically starts to happen after this point, usually the offenses have a leg up on the defenses. Because they've been practicing all their new stuff all summer long. And now we're 4 weeks in, teams are able to put together tape where there's patterns. Oh, they do this every week. Oh, they do this every week. Oh, they do this in these situations. And so, and I think the Dolphins lacking the ability to run the football is going to catch up with them.
But also with
Tua's not starting this week though, right?
No.
Okay.
And Mostert has been surprisingly effective.
Mostert, that doesn't surprise me that he's effective. Mostert's fucking awesome. He's like one of the fastest human beings on the planet.
Right. But that's how that offense is designed.
They haven't been efficient. They don't attempt to run the ball a lot. That's not, and that worked with Tua. Teddy Bridgewater's never been that guy. Teddy Bridgewater's never been the guy that you can just expect. Like, he doesn't throw the ball 35 times a game.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater's injury prone. We might see two Dolphin quarterbacks.
I think
go
that's
out
a recipe for disaster. Is like them sending Teddy Bridgewater out, not being able to run the football effectively, and expecting him to throw the ball 35 times. The Jets are not bad defensively.
No, we want you to take that one, not give us another one.
Thank you, though.
Do appreciate it.
Be careful. There's liquid on it.
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe you guys touched this. Some fantasy prospects on the Dolphins and Jets, and we have a question too. When you guys are ready for that?
Yeah, we can hit the question first.
Let's hit the question first.
Okay, so we got Josh Canby. My team is Jalen Hurts, Kamara, Mixon, A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman, T.J. Hawkinson, Amon-Ra as his flex, 49ers defense, Daniel Carlson, and I have Eagles defense. So just switch them on who has better matchup. It's a 10-man full PPR. I don't know if there was a question there.
No, he's just bragging.
I'm pretty, and he should be.
I should have read that first.
And so he should be 4-0.
Yeah, no, that's a darn good team.
Yeah, that's a 4-0 team.
You're set up very well. You've got two of the best defenses in the NFL.
I'm going to start the clock back up.
Along with a heck of a lineup. So congratulations. Yeah, you should expect to do well.
And even his kicker is the best kicker. Carlson's the number one kicker in fantasy.
Right. So when you have a problem with your fantasy lineup, let us know.
We got another question.
So
question from Nick Rivera. I think a first-time YouTuber commenter. I have Cook, Fournette, Saquon, and Diggs. What wide receiver would you trade Job and Marquise Brown for?
I'm sorry?
So Job and Marquise Brown for what wide receiver? He's looking to trade those two for a wide receiver.
Who and Marquise Brown?
He has Cook, Fournette, Saquon, and Diggs. What wide receiver would you trade J-Rob and Marquise Brown for?
Oh, James Robinson. Okay. So you have the receiver that I like most for rest of the season, which is Diggs. Like I like Diggs the best. I think he's going to score the most touchdowns. I would be trying to get CeeDee Lamb because I think CeeDee Lamb is still like slightly under the radar because he's got Cooper Kupp throwing him the ball.
What about Hopkins right now?
I don't know what he's going to do. I don't trust that offense. I just don't. Last year he was a red zone target, and that was it. Like, he had touchdowns save him last year.
He's got help on the other side now. With Hollywood Brown. But
that just takes more targets away, and that was my whole.
But also, like, now he's not going to get double covered. Like, he was the only thing in town before.
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
I'm just throwing Hopkins out there as a possible target because he's about to come off his suspension. You might be able to get him on the cheap still.
Yeah, but he's saying give up James Robinson. I'm not giving up James Robinson and Marquise Brown to get.
Not both. I don't think
that's the question.
No, I understand it, but I'm saying you could give up one of those pieces and probably get Hopkins. And he's got Marquise Brown.
He asked the question specifically: Who would you try and get by trading these two pieces? So I answered that question specifically.
I don't. Okay, CeeDee Lamb I think is shooting too low. I wouldn't want CeeDee Lamb there. I think if you're giving up those two big pieces,
Where do you see CeeDee Lamb finishing at the end of the year?
12, 13.
And that's too low. Who are you trying to? Who do you think you're going to get for Marquise Brown and James Robinson?
And James Robinson. I mean, those are two good pieces.
James
you can go to one.
I'm lower on James Robinson than you are.
Okay, so who would you try to get for those two pieces?
That's not.
Because you're saying he's going to finish at 12.
Maybe an Amon-Ra St. Brown.
See, I don't think St. Brown's going to. He has St. Brown.
He has St. Brown too.
No, that was the other guy.
Okay, I was like, what? What's he trying to trade
So
for?
I don't think the manager who has St. Brown's going to trade him. I don't think the manager who has Waddle is going to trade him.
Well, and
I don't think the manager who has Tyreek Hill is going to trade him.
here's some good trade advice. You go to the owners that are losing.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
that's actually
you don't go to the owners that are winning.
Thank you. That's a better way to answer this.
So
So you know who. So it's a good thing that you know who you want to get rid of. That's step one. That you know the people you want to package to get your guy.
Exactly.
Now you go to the standings and you look at who's in last. You look at the 0-4 team. You look at the 1-3 team, and you look at the team who has the player that you like the best.
and you try to take their best player
Yeah.
because they're going to need your two.
Yep.
Your two players are going to be starters for them, so they're going to be looking at that like, oh my gosh, this is a deal. Whereas you're looking at it as, yes, I got another star player for my lineup. So to me, that's what you're looking for. Us throwing out names that are probably not going to work for you doesn't really help you,
Yeah.
but I think
That's true.
that advice would.
Wow, that was great advice.
But that's
I
where-
hope somebody comes to me for a trade soon.
Believe me, I was looking at your team today. I was like,
But that's where I start for trades. Is I definitely do exactly what we just said. Is I try and go pick on the people who are losing because they're probably panicking.
And you know what? Nobody's picking on me, so that means my team's just not performing. So let's go ahead and continue the clock. We are talking about the Dolphins and the Jets.
The
Who do you
undesirables.
guys have?
Oh, he got the Dolphins.
I'm going to take the Dolphins.
I'm
here.
going to take the Jets.
I'm going to go with the Jets too.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable with Teddy Bridgewater.
can see that.
Jets, Jets. I'm all about the Jets, baby. This is
I can
my
see that. I can see that.
This is my lock of the week.
And oh wow, this is your lock of the week. Even.
I'm
Okay.
in. I'm in, dude.
All right.
I'm in. Like Zach Wilson, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson. I love it. I'm all about the Jets right now.
All right. All right. See, and if you were saying like JETS next year, I'd be like, dude,
No,
I think you're right.
Like I think they're going to challenge for a playoff
maybe.
spot this year. Like the
I don't know about that.
like the Titans aren't as good as we thought they were. The Colts aren't as good as
30
we thought
seconds.
we thought they were. The entire AFC West, except for Kansas City, isn't as good as we thought they were. I think there's room for them.
Okay. Okay.
Is Isaiah McKenzie a good flex for this week?
If he plays.
I don't
If
think
he
he's going
plays
to play.
with the yeah.
Yeah, so but maybe not because he's
It is a concussion, so
Yeah,
I
I'd
mean,
rather
if
look
they
elsewhere.
clear him and he plays, you know what I mean, and he's in your flex, like that's your best flex player. Yeah, I'd probably play him, but I would definitely be looking for options. You know what I mean? I'd definitely be looking for something else because my expectation is he will not.
just
play.
like we're looking for something else right now by moving on.
Yes, we are. We're moving on to the Huguenot Canby. Thanks for the questions.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, so we're moving on to the Falcons and the Bucks. Atlanta is plus 10.
Man.
Over under is 46, and the money line is plus 360 for the Falcons and minus 450 for the Bucks.
I think the Buccaneers will cover that 10 points.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can put Bucks for all three of us, right?
Whoa, yeah, I think
mean-
so, but I don't know about covering 10 points. But
Yeah, 10 points would be a different story. I think it might be a little closer than that, but here's the week. This is the week that Brady's getting his weapons back.
Yeah, Brady
You know
gets.
what I mean?
This is the this could be. Man, I really want to just like put a stamp on it. This is the Brady 5 touchdown game, like because we're gonna get one
And
you
go.
know? It's coming for sure, and he just like he's so pissed off right now. You can just tell it. You can just tell how mad he is.
Yeah.
Like just about everything. Like he's just got stuff going on. Like
Yeah, including personal problems.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he seems he just seems angry, extra angry, and eventually someone's gonna get it. And I think it's gonna be the Falcons.
And I'll and like I say, yes, he is going to go off against somebody. I will say though that the personal problems, the everything problems, him being angry, I'd say that's not a good thing.
It is for him though. He lives on that stuff. Like
he lives on the competition. I don't
He
know
li-
about,
he-
but I don't know.
he
We're
li-
looking into
he-
somebody's personality at this
he
point.
lives
Who
on
knows?
like
but-
finding edges. Like so
Yeah.
he's the type of guy that'll use like everybody thinks I'm
yeah.
I'm
just saying
everyone thinks
relationship
I'm
problems.
done.
You don't know
Everyone-
how that's going to affect somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
That's true, but he's done it before though. This isn't even his first celebrity breakup.
Oh, this is Giselle though.
I thought his first wife was hotter.
hotter.
I've never been a Giselle
I don't
fan.
even know who that is. But
Everybody's just
His first
all
wife
hot
was-
to trot over Giselle because of her cash.
Dude,
Yeah.
his first wife was
Sugar mama.
Bridget Moynihan.
I don't even recognize that name. But
She's an actress.
I'm not a celebrity watcher, guy, so I have no clue.
What did she get? She was in she was in like a CIA movie.
No, definitely don't
What
know.
the hell was it?
Mission Impossible. I don't
No,
know.
it was with Al Pacino and Colin Farrell. I forget what it was called, but she was really good in that movie.
But Heat?
You're so old.
I am old.
You know what? And I don't think Colin Farrell was in that movie. He had Pacino, De Niro.
Yeah,
it had a lineup
from the 80s though.
It had
It's from the
Kilmer,
1980s.
Val Kilmer.
That's
in
90s.
it.
Thank you very much. That's 90s.
It was actually a reboot, I think, too.
Could have been.
All right. So that's way off topic. Anyway. Yeah, so the Buccaneers are so they have full Godwin, and I say that because he was a limited participant in the game last weekend, but he should be full go. Julio Jones is supposed to play, so
Minor note there. Who cares? But fantasy wise, that's not.
hey, when Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are on the field too,
I'm saying it's nice that he's on the field for the Tampa Bay Bucks, but I'm saying fantasy wise, we don't care.
I do kind of. I saw in week 1 he looked good.
I don't even know if I'd have Julio on any of my benches.
No. Like if you're playing in a DraftKings lineup.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, my
So
point is made.
Whatabeezy had Michael Carter and Tyler Boyd for Algier and Etienne, but he denied it. Did he make a good choice on that?
Algier and who was the other one?
So he had Tyler Boyd and
Carter. Michael Carter. For
Two
Algier and
expendable
Etienne.
pieces, and then
Yeah.
Algier and
I would rather have Etienne and Algier.
Etienne, okay.
I think I would rather have because Algier is going to get work right now. He's got a good chance to just take over the job in Atlanta permanently because he's the rookie. They've got the other two options. Their other options are 30 years old, both of them. They've got Damian Williams coming back from the IR pretty soon. He's 30, and they've got Cordell Patterson, who's 31. So
I do like the Algier Etienne side of that trade,
and
just
Etienne,
because
I
there's
think
more
is,
upside on
I
it.
said this earlier in the podcast tonight. Etienne has been getting more and more snaps every single week.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of time before he has a game, and then once he has a game, he'll be too expensive to get. So I think that's if you could get that deal back online, I'd try.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it's a huge thing, but because Boyd is going to, whenever one of those other receivers
Tyler
is hurt,
Boyd is
Boyd's
one
great.
of those guys that he's never on any waiver wires because he just he does his thing every once in a while, and if either one of those other guys misses time,
He's great.
He's instant start. Yeah,
Exactly.
and he's great.
30 seconds.
Yeah, he's like having Jamal Williams on your roster.
So, okay, did we finish up that game here?
We're all picking Bucks.
We're all picking
Yeah,
Bucks.
that wasn't
Atlanta. Are we starting anybody from Atlanta?
Drake.
Oh, he has Algier and Etienne.
Oh yeah,
Etienne.
you
Then
keep
you
Algier.
were
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was correct. You did right.
Turn that down thing. Turn that.
Yeah,
Turn that.
that was a
trade down
terrible
fast.
trade
All right.
offer.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and move on. Titans at the Washington Commanders. Titans at
The Durs.
Titans at -2, over under at 43, and if the money line, if you have the Titans, is -135, and if you have the Commanders, is +115.
I'll start off by saying I think this the line on this game was a little closer than I expected. I honestly expected the Titans to be favored by 5.5, and when it was only by 2, that made me think that Vegas knows something I don't know. You know what I mean? I was surprised by that. Maybe it's just that Washington has a bigger fan base or whatever.
I think it's that. So, if you've watched the Titans the last couple weeks, they're a first half team. They keep scoring all their points in the first half. They've done it 3 times this year.
Really, that's funny because last year and the last 2 years they've been a real big second half.
Yeah,
that's what they are. Is
yeah,
a second half team.
It's super interesting, but they're the
That's
opposite
funny.
this year. Against the Giants,
And go.
against the Giants, against the Raiders, and against the Colts, they scored all their points in the first half.
Okay, yeah, that's surprising to me. I would not have guessed that. I hadn't paid attention to
And
that.
so, and they've run away from those opponents and had those opponents come back on them.
Okay,
And the games have been close, and so I really don't know what to make of that. I really don't. It's very bizarre, but I think what it is, that's just like Vegas telling you that the Titans don't have the ability to put anybody away.
It's funny because the game that you just put in front of us there, you know what I mean? The game scenario you just put in front of us, I'm like, well, that's kind of what I feel like this game is going to be. I feel like the Titans are going to get ahead. I think Washington's going to come back on them,
But not all the way.
Right, not all the way. I think the Titans are going to win the game, but I think it's the Washington's going to make it closer than it should have been. I think the Washington's going to have some decent receiving options in this
The
in
Titans'
this match.
secondary has been awful.
And start Derrick Henry. I think Henry is
Yes.
going to be a great start this week.
Start Derrick Henry. Start Robert Woods. Tannehill's a good streamer this week.
I'd be reluctant on that.
I still like Tannehill.
I'd have to look up some stats on that. I'm
He's been playing better.
Has he?
Yeah, he's been incredibly accurate the last couple weeks. Like 2 weeks ago against the Raiders.
So we got a question.
His only incompletions were tip passes.
So we got a follow from Twitch and a first time chat from
Nice.
Twitch. Slimy Gus. He
What's up, Gus?
What's up, dude?
he traded G. Wilson for Brees Hall. He feels like he fleeced that dude.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
And
you
then
did. And I love Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're
I love
you're
Garrett Wilson.
a Garrett Wilson
but I would
fanboy over here
absolutely trade Garrett Wilson for Brees Hall.
every
his,
day of the week.
and his question is, what do you think about Curtis Samuel this week?
He's got some injury issues, but I mean,
But he is playing.
But I want to start all the Washington weapons this week against Tennessee. And, like this is a game where I don't think either team can stop the other one. So I want all of the weapons.
I think McLaurin and Samuel are both going to be good.
And
I
I
think
like
they're
Logan
both good
Thomas too.
options this week.
I like Logan
Yeah.
Thomas.
Logan Thomas if he plays. Like I was toying with throwing him in a DFS lineup, but like his injury status is very up in the
He's
air
always
right now.
injured though.
That's very true. Not a helpful thing for starting him, by the way.
So we're currently on the Titans and the Commanders. What do you guys think for your fantasy starts and sits?
Like I say, we kind of
You sit Gibson now.
yes.
Brian
You're
Robinson's-
you're not trying to start Gibson unless you have to.
Brian Robinson's back.
No, he's out. He's out this
He's not
week.
gonna play
but
this week?
He's not going to play this
Okay.
week, but he is on the way back.
But he's been
But
getting less
even
and less
yeah,
work.
like I
every
say,
week.
that doesn't even matter. Gibson is getting less and less work every week,
single week.
as it is. You know what I
They
mean?
played
So,
somebody named Jonathan Williams last week.
Yeah. Tennessee receiving options. Who like
It's
with
just Robert
Burks,
Woods. Burks
with
is hurt
Burks
now.
out. I
Burks
mean,
is gonna.
it's-
Burks has turf toe too, which is like last week we're sitting
Yeah,
here and I was
it's,
just telling. I was telling
season
everybody
killer.
like, get up on Burks, get Traylon Burks, get Traylon Burks because he's like it's his pop off game is coming. It's like, and now 7 days later. Now I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because like that, like I'll never forget what Deion Sanders went through when he got turf toe. It ended his career.
Yeah. Oh, it ended his career. Wow.
That was what ended Deion.
See, I see it end seasons all the time.
That's what ended.
I didn't know it ended his
That's
career.
what ended
Wow.
Deion was turf toe. And actually, like and I've
So explain
explain
what turf toe is. for people.
I actually don't know exactly what the injury is.
I have a vague idea on it, and it's basically like it's almost like a what do they call it? Plantar fasciitis, or anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, you were close.
Plantar fasciitis.
Turf toe is also called a metatarsophalangeal joint sprain. Occurs, I don't know if I nailed that or not, but occurs when the ligament underneath your big toe hyperextends. This causes a sprain in the main joint of your big toe.
But the important part is it causes constant pain.
And you can't plant.
Yes.
You can't push off.
And so until you get that healed as a receiver, as a running back, you're just screwed. Like there's just you can't play.
30 seconds.
And there you go. But like I've only gone off what I've heard off the turf toe, but it's basically a pain thing, and you just can't plant. And if you rely on your toe, you're done.
Yeah, so that's real troubling for Treylon Burks. And then.
So who are we picking? Titans at what? Commanders?
I'm picking the Titans.
Yeah, I got the Titans too.
Until something changes with the Commanders. I can't see myself picking them against anybody. Like maybe the Bears. Maybe I'll pick them.
But
over the Bears.
one other thing, like we got a few seconds.
I would
here
pick
in
the
this
Bears.
They're in Chicago, so you're gonna pick the Bears for sure.
I will say that this game is a game that's going to have a lot of fantasy points scored. This is a game I want to.
And that's why I said I like Tannehill as a streamer.
Yep.
I think this is one of those games where Tannehill catches a touchdown pass.
Catches one.
Because it happens like twice a year where he catches one from Derrick Henry.
I totally know what you're talking about. But like I said, to me, this is going to be a really fun, good game. Lots of scoring. This is one I'm very much targeting in DFS.
Yeah, agreed.
Next up, we got the 49ers at the Panthers.
And we're done.
49ers at -6.5. With the over-under of 39.5. That's kind of a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
If you got the Niners, the money line is -275. And if you got the Panthers, it's +230.
I tell you right now, I'm going to take the under on that 39.5 and the 49ers to cover.
Wow.
I actually think the 49ers are going to shut them out.
That Niner defense is absolutely no
and that
joke.
Panther
Take
offense
it
is
seriously.
so bad. That Panther offense is so bad that
they have good weapons.
I really can't see how they're going to score. I don't know how they're going to do it.
And they have McCaffrey and DJ Moore. Like a great receiver, one of the best running backs in the NFL, and they just can't figure anything out.
So Joey Bosa is leading the NFL in pressures by 8.
That's ridiculous.
We're only 4 weeks in.
Yes. And didn't he miss some time?
And that's over a guy like Micah Parsons. He's got 8 more pressures than Micah Parsons does. And Micah Parsons has 4 sacks.
And he missed at least half a game, I think.
Because he just gets hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
Those Bosas.
Because he plays so hard.
Those Bosas, they're just crazy. But yeah, the 49ers defense is just
bonkers.
Scary.
Yeah.
They're scary. They're scary good. And they've got, Polamalu Jr., Hufanga. Have you seen him?
No, I haven't seen him.
You've got to see him.
Yeah?
Yes, you're gonna fall in love. He's Polamalu Jr. and he works out with him.
Oh, really?
Yes. He's like taking him under his wing. It's
shoot.
It's awesome. He was defensive player of the week. I'm pretty sure he had the pick 6.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to pay attention to him. Because I tell you what, Polamalu, one of my favorite players of all time.
This guy
to
can
watch, dude. Like
Polamalu
was so much fun to watch.
Hufanga, that's his name.
Hufanga. Okay.
Yeah. I actually think the 49ers. I'm seriously predicting the 49ers to shut them out.
Okay, so is there anybody you can start on the Panther side?
You still start CMC.
Okay,
but that's it.
CMC, and that's it, right?
That's it. Cause you have to start Christian McCaffrey, but you don't want to. You don't he's not going to score a touchdown this week.
Yeah, you expect like 14 fantasy points out of
him. For 10, I think.
Wow.
Because I don't think the 49ers are going. The 49ers offense isn't going to run them out of the game to the point where you get 8 catches from McCaffrey. I don't think that's going to happen. And also, I don't think the 49ers will let that happen. I think they'll make Baker Mayfield do something else because the 49ers are a defense good enough to take your best option away. So when I say you're hoping for like 10, I think that's like 60 rushing yards and 3 catches for 15 yards.
Yeah, no, I think that's a decent line on
and that would be my expectation for Christian McCaffrey this week is like somewhere between 10 and 14.
And he's the only one we think he can start.
That's it. And then
Niners side, I mean, of course, Deebo Samuel is great. Garoppolo is getting it done, but you do not want Garoppolo as your starting quarterback in DFS. Ayuk is somebody that you can start. To me, that's I don't think so.
That's a flex.
Yeah,
he's
somebody you'd prefer to have on your bench, but you can throw in your flex if you need to. That's where I see Ayuk right now.
Emergency call up.
Yep. And Jeff Wilson is just going to get the volume. Like he's
still going to get the ball.
He's just a guy, but he's a guy in a great spot.
Yeah. Lock him in RB2.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, he's just.
Like, let's see. I would start Jeff Wilson over Najee Harris this week.
I wouldn't do that, but
You're a Pittsburgh
I see
homer,
where
I
you're
feel.
at. Well, I mean, dude.
Come on now.
Oh,
Who's more likely to score a
Zeke?
touchdown?
Would you do him or Zeke?
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Wilson's more likely to score a touchdown, and so that's where I'm valuing those guys. If you're an RB2, like I'm gonna start you over another guy based on my thinking you're going to score a touchdown. And so I think Jeff Wilson is more likely to score a touchdown than guys like Zeke and guys like Najee Harris this week.
Yeah, those are hard for me to call just because like the talent level.
So the Panthers'
is
rush
so
defense is not good.
different, but
The Panthers' rush
But I
defense
definitely
is
see your
not
point.
good.
I definitely
Jeff
see your
Wilson's
point.
going to get work. So here's
I think
the thing.
Panthers are middle of the road, by the way.
I think Zeke, Najee Harris, and Jeff Wilson are all going to get similar work this weekend. They're all going to get somewhere between 15 and 18 carries.
30 seconds.
Zeke is going to bring up the rear in catches, but I think Najee Harris and Jeff Wilson are both going to get 3 to 4 catches. And it's just that the difference is I think Jeff Wilson's going to be more efficient with his opportunities, and I think he's going to have an opportunity to score. So I would play him.
And we still, and just on the other side, I just want
And
to say that we still don't know
eventually,
what.
George Kittle's got to score, right? Eventually,
Maybe.
right?
But we don't know what Pickett's going to do.
Does he still run routes?
Yeah, no, he's out there. He's
Okay?
out there.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, he's running around.
And so who you guys picking for the game?
49ers, baby.
Yeah. Niners all day on this one.
I think we're all in alignment on there that the 49ers are going to beat Carolina.
As Baker would say, they're gonna f them up.
I hope Baker has a game.
Hey, he's not.
I hope
gonna.
this is the game that
This
he's
is
like,
not. This
That'd
is
be
not
hilarious.
the one.
I'm Baker
This is
Mayfield.
This is the game.
love
We
to
all
see it.
made a mistake.
This is the game where Baker Mayfield dies. Like he's gonna end up in the dirt,
This is the game where he's like,
inside the dirt.
I don't belong in the NFL.
Yeah. Like, he could get hurt in this game.
Send me to Canada.
But this is also the NFL. This could be the week that they figure out how to use McCaffrey, and all of a sudden they look like geniuses. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't predict that to happen.
That
but
happens in the NFL.
It is.
That
in
sounds
the
like a
realm,
fairy tale.
Oh, come on now. It is definitely in the realm of possibility.
All right.
I don't think it is.
So next
Not
up,
this week.
we have Philadelphia at the Cardinals. Philadelphia at -5 over 48 over under is 48.5. The money line, if you're on the Eagles, is -230, and if you're on the Cardinals, is +195. Go ahead and go,
nice.
guys.
Interesting stat: the Eagles have never won in the stadium.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I'll say that this is another one of those games that I'm probably going to target in DFS. I'll probably have a couple of or at least one lineup kind of geared around this game. This is definitely a game where there can be a lot of points scored.
That's interesting. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I think a lot of points can be scored in this game. Obviously, the Eagles have shown that they're capable of it. I think Arizona is capable of it now that Eagles D is going, is good. I do expect the Eagles to win and win fairly well, but I see the Cardinals keeping it close. I see the Cardinals, doing a little come from behind action, a little garbage time, and I think the totals, the fantasy totals, are going to be good.
So,
Okay.
question from Twitch: who do y'all think will score more, Ertz or Goddard?
Ooh,
Goddard.
that's a good question. I think Ertz.
Goddard.
Ooh,
Oh,
disagreement.
hey,
Yeah.
bet on that one.
Yep.
Oh, I love
Ooh,
it.
we got
I
a bet
love it.
going, dude. You just created a bet right now.
So,
These guys are betting upon it.
As far as streaming is concerned.
So sorry about that. We just had some frames drop. If you guys didn't catch any of that, let us know. And if we're all good, then we're all good, and we'll just keep going. How much time we got left on this game?
Sorry, we're looking up some tight end stats here.
Zach Ertz, fantasy points, 11.4, 15.5, 10.5, 16.7.
And Goddard is 9, 13, 11, 12.
Oh, that sounds worse.
Yeah, a little bit. Not by much. Not by much. Very
I'm
consistent.
just saying, like you were so
Very
excited to take Goddard over Ertz,
and I'm thrilled.
Like I was crazy. No.
And like say, let's see.
Ertz was one of my targets this year. Like,
All right, so
for tight end,
Arizona
like,
is the
late tight end.
31st. Is the 31st best
against tight ends, but
Against tight ends.
but that's a lot of that is because
And-
Travis Kelce scored against them twice.
and Philadelphia is the 12th best, not the worst. Philadelphia is middle of the road, whereas Arizona is one of the worst.
So right now, like so far, I don't think Philadelphia has been challenged really from that front. Like who are their matchups so far? I know they just played Evan Ingram, who's really scary, and who else did they play? They played Washington, had Logan Thomas. I expected Logan Thomas to score in that game, but I think he got hurt in that game.
Yeah, he hasn't been really back yet.
And then they played the Vikings, who they gave up a touchdown to Irv Smith. Irv Smith was the only person to score in that game. And then,
so is your argument that Ertz just has that much talent?
And then Hawkins, I'm pretty sure Hawkinson scored against him in week 1.
We have a question from YouTube when you guys are ready.
Okay, just real quick, do you think Ertz is that talented, or
No.
do you think Ertz is just a guy getting in the right spot?
No, what I think is that the
30
Eagles
seconds.
have 3 or 4 different guys who can score rushing touchdowns, and then they have 3 or 4 different guys that they want to throw the ball to, whereas the Cardinals have 2 guys that they want to throw the ball to. To me, it's just volume.
Okay.
Ertz is the number 2 option, whereas Goddard's like number 4,
And I was on DraftKings; they're basically the same price,
which is a mistake.
which I was shocked by. So
Yeah,
I thought Goddard would would be way higher.
Like I love this bet. This is a super fun
I
bet,
like it.
but I really do believe that Ertz is a better play.
So, question: Is Devontae a start for this week?
Devontae who? Smith?
Yeah, it must be.
just
Yeah,
It must be
we're
good.
talking about
Actually,
the Eagles.
so
game,
yeah, Devontae Smith is a super
if you're talking
good
about
start this
Devontae
week.
Adams, start
Yeah.
him.
No, if you're talking about Devontae Smith, like that shouldn't be a
Yes.
question, honestly.
No, well-
like, unless you're if you're in a 2 receiver in a flex league, that's a question.
Right.
But if you're in a 3 receiver in a flex league, absolutely you're starting Devontae Smith. And if you're not starting Devontae Smith, then you should probably be trading pieces to improve somewhere else because
Yeah,
you're loaded at receiver.
I was going to say Devontae Smith is totally somebody you can have on your bench.
I don't think so.
I do. Like
He's too good. You're crazy.
Are we split on the
You're
Eagles
still
versus
sleeping on him.
Cards?
Like, hold on a second. Hold on. Pause that thing. You need to stop
That's
this.
Ken's
'Cause
second time out.
We had this discussion where I told you Devontae Smith was drafted to be the number 1. They happened to go and trade for A.J. Brown afterwards, but Devontae Smith is a number 1 receiver. He is a number 1. And then what did he do that week? He scored twice and had over 100 yards. Like, I'm telling you, like he is a number 1 receiver. You need to give him his respect.
I refuse.
And let's unpause now.
Okay, so
Devontae Smith, I'll take him over George Pickens.
question real quick. I'll keep it on pause.
I just want to say he
Wait,
goosed
do I have
in
a
the first
question?
week and 4 points last
did
week. So
goose. He did.
Just saying.
Okay, but so
No, I don't.
What
I
did
don't have
Jalen
a
Hurts
question.
do last week?
I think I answered.
It
the
was a
question.
rainy game. Like did you watch the game?
No, I didn't want that.
It was
I didn't watch
monsoon
that
game.
one.
Like that
Oh,
game.
the week 1 you're talking about. Yeah,
No, I'm talking about right now. The Eagles just played the Jaguars, and they played, and it rained
Yeah,
the whole
no,
game.
it was a wet game, not a monsoon. I get what you're saying.
There was more rain in that game than there was in the San Francisco and Chicago game. The San Francisco Chicago game just got a whole bunch of rain at once, but it only rained for a short period of time in that game. There was actually like the whole first half was clean.
All right, so you guys have some definite opinions here. Devontae Smith is a must start over here, or close to it in the situation.
And also
he
the
gave.
reason he's the must start this week is because the Cardinals are really good at shutting down number 1s.
So
And-
Epics
and
on
I do
YouTube
think
had
he's a
made a
decent,
comment that he had dropped Smith after the second week. He's sad about it.
Yeah, I'd be sad about that too. I wouldn't have dropped him.
When you guys get a chance, can you grab me a beer? And we'll move on. Oh wait, who are we picking? Eagles or on the Cardinals? So what's going on there? I'm gonna have to go Eagles too.
I'll lone wolf the Cardinals on this one.
Yeah, Ken picks his lone wolf, man. We have very little lone wolves this week. You guys usually it's not like this. Usually we're a lot more diverse on our picks.
Yeah.
This week.
And I just want to say Ken's hate for the Philadelphia Eagles is shining through on this one, I think. Because
Because I don't like Kyler Murray.
this is a hopeful pick, I think.
It's
from
not
Ken.
it's not hopeful. Actually, it's not. The Cardinals are a weird team.
Yes, I will totally agree with
They're
that.
just a weird team.
Yes.
I'm not sure what to make of them yet. I do think they're dangerous.
And we have a question when you guys are
I
ready.
agree with that too.
And I think the Eagles are flawed. I don't think the Eagles are nearly as good as people are making them out to be. And they've got a lot of injuries actually. So they lost real quick. They lost Darius Slay last week. He left with a forearm injury and didn't come back.
I thought he was back this week.
He played last week. He got hurt in the game.
No, I know, but I'm saying I thought he was playing this week.
Probably going to play. I'm just saying
he's not
he's
100%.
not 100% anymore. Their left tackle, Jordan Mailata, got a concussion diving during the pick six return. He dove after the guy and just like slammed his head on the ground. He'd never dove to the ground before, didn't know what to do, just slammed his face right into the ground and left the game, didn't come back.
Not what he was hired for, I'm just saying.
So the Eagles are missing their left tackle. So they're starting to take on a little water, injury wise.
Okay.
I'm not completely sold on the juggernaut that is Philadelphia. That they're being made out to be just because they're the last undefeated standing. And honestly, I could see that ending this week.
And I'm with you on all of that. I just don't know about the Cardinals being the team to take them down because they've kind of had their own problems lately.
And see, to me, it's another one of those like historical view things where I don't think it's going to be like, oh, it takes this supreme matchup to take this team down. I think that when they lose, it's going to be, we didn't expect that to happen.
Well, just if we're going to go by history, like when was the last time that Arizona Cardinals won a home game? You know when that was?
It's been quite a while,
Last
actually.
October.
Yeah,
it's been a year.
So
It's been a full
awesome.
year since they won a home game.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Just throwing that out there.
Wow.
Then they're due. I'm glad now.
Totally
I'm even more happy that I picked him now.
Love it.
So, would you guys put Godwin, Williams, Kamara, or Dobbins at flex?
I'm sorry. Say Godwin.
Would you put Godwin, Williams, Kamara, or Dobbins at flex?
Jesus freaking Christ! What?
What kind of a league is that?
Would you put
Yeah.
Godwin? I'm just kidding.
I don't even know that. Okay, listen. I feel bad for you because like your team is so good that the only way you're going to lose is by making poor decisions.
Yeah,
and like you're never going to know which of your. This is why. So this is why we moved our league. I wanted to move our league from a 10 team to a 12 team.
Right.
Because I cannot stand when I lose because I chose this superstar over that superstar. And it's like, and that
Mariota over Goff?
no, it's
That
this.
sounds like there's some
it's
history
this
there.
situation. You should never be in a situation where you have Kamara, Godwin,
No, yeah.
J.K. Dobbins, and you're only starting one of them.
That's great.
Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But
by
to
the way,
address
you start
question,
Kamara.
Yes. You start Kamara. Congratulations on your league. Like,
So hold on. So the floor plays Kamara. The ceiling play is Godwin. I think.
oh wow.
I think.
I think it's just Kamara.
So
period.
Godwin
I don't
has
think there's-
Godwin with Brady has absolutely destroyed the Falcons. 7+ catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown in 4 games.
But he's just coming back. I don't know. That's not. I mean, I'd be
saying.
willing to put him in my lineup,
Just
but
saying.
I wouldn't take that. Kind
Brady's
of
not going to care if you're just coming back.
Yeah, well,
You know that. Brady's not going to be like, you know what, I better not throw it to him.
he is desperate to
He's-
throw to somebody
he's-
that knows what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Next question: should I start Brees or Damian Williams this week?
Brees.
Damian Williams or Damian Pierce?
He said Damian Williams.
Damian Williams is still on IR, so I wouldn't start him.
I just assumed he said it was Pierce, but
And I would, and actually,
So then,
I would start.
Brees both in cases.
I would start Damian Pierce over
really?
over Brees Hall because and the only reason I say that I like the matchup for Brees Hall better. I think so. The Dolphins have a sneaky high rating against running backs because they haven't allowed a bunch of fantasy points to running backs. However, they've played against Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, who roasted them on the ground.
and have no running backs to speak
And
of.
have
Yeah.
no running backs. So at the time, Dobbins wasn't back. So I think Brees Hall is an excellent play. But I'm not sold yet that he's going to get enough work to be better than Damian Pierce. I'm not there yet. Like if you look at if his box score from last week was like that from the week before and the week before that, I'd be all over Brees Hall over Damian Pierce, but I'm not there yet. I want to see him get another week where he has 15+ carries.
And
that's
I'm
the
the
number looking
opposite
at.
there. I definitely lean towards Brees Hall, but I will say that I'm a little biased there in that I'm not impressed with Pierce. I think that he's a guy. I think he's a guy in a great situation.
Are you not? Are you looking at the box score? Or are you watching the games?
I've seen no
You
both.
watching-
both
did you
both
watch
on
his
Houston.
75-yard touchdown run?
I did. Like one breakaway touchdown is not.
Did you
like,
see how he did
It's
it,
nice
though?
that he can do it, but like
I like him.
I don't.
I like him.
To me, he's a guy at running back in a great situation. Whereas Breece Hall is a huge talent in a good situation and gaining
an improving
ascendance
situation
and gaining ascendance in that offense.
And him
So
and Michael Carter on
that's
the
where
field
I'd wanna
together
go.
is fun. I don't know if you like. So that my favorite plays, other than watching Zach Wilson, were they ran the same play once to the right side early in the game, and then later in the game they ran it to the left side, and it included it was Breece Hall sweeping out wide with Michael Carter as the lead blocker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was
Nice.
so good, and it was effective both times.
Carter's really coming off
so
as a solid running,
he's a good
solid
player.
all-around
He's
player
just a
this
good
year.
player.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
he's not the
he's a good football
star
player.
that Breece Hall looks like he's going to be, but
so
man,
if,
he's going to be around.
I had this thought, like if I were the
worthwhile.
49ers, I'd be trying to get him.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
and it just to me it makes so much sense because Tevin Coleman he's a Shanahan guy. He's with the 49ers again. He was with the Jets last year. So it's like, he's got a big brother situation to even help him, get acclimated to the offense even faster. And the Jets aren't in on him long term because they've got Breece Hall. So that, like, if I were the 49ers, I'd be trying to get him.
I would disagree a little bit, just saying that if I'm the Jets, I'm looking at keeping Breece Hall and Michael Carter as my backfield.
I agree. But
That's
if
a great. They're young.
I agree,
They're-
but the thing is Michael Carter is a 4th round draft pick. So I think if you're the 49ers and you offer them like a day 2 draft pick, that's really hard to say no.
right. I can see that.
As an organization, you're like, we'll replace this guy.
Yeah.
And the 49ers really could use a running back.
That's
Kirk
no
or Zay
joke.
Jones?
Kirk.
Oh, that's not a question.
Yeah.
Kirk's the number 1 on the team.
Kirk for sure.
They're on the same team. So, I like Zay Jones. I think Zay Jones is somebody who doesn't belong on a waiver wire. So I'm not going to, but Kirk all
Yes.
day. Yeah.
without question.
Next game.
Yes. Next game.
So moving on.
Not this game. Who cares about this game?
Cowboys. Do you got tickets to this game?
I'll be there.
Yes.
Are you
Okay.
really going to be there?
I'll be there.
Nice.
Yes.
Cowboys at Rams. Dallas Cowboys at +5.5. The over/unders at 42. If you're betting the money line on the Cowboys, you're at a +190. And if you're betting the money line on the Rams, you're at -225.
Bet
You guys
that Cowboy side.
ready and go.
So this game sucks for fantasy.
Okay.
I like on the Rams side. Obviously, you start Cooper Kupp, and the only reason that you start him is because like he's just gonna, he's gonna get the volume. But I wouldn't expect him to score.
You start Higbee too, I think.
I think, yeah. Oh yes, and Higbee actually I think is the best play. Like, and because Kupp is an obvious one, I think Higbee is one of those ones that people aren't gonna like if you're playing DFS or if you're just looking. Like he shouldn't be out on the waiver wire, but he's another one that I've seen that should, that's just like Gerald Everett shouldn't have been out there either. But like if you're looking for a tight end,
It sounds like you're talking about either inactive leagues or leagues.
there's
that
a
are-
lot of leagues that
So
people play
small.
in that are like this, and like and there's a lot of people that play in fantasy football leagues like that where they don't interact with everybody. Like it's not everybody is as fortunate as we are to have like a league where everybody is active all the time. Right.
So YouTube
So-
question: Rush or Stafford?
Rush.
Stafford's got to have a get right game, and
It's not this week.
I don't
It's
know.
not this week, dude.
At the Rams.
And as the only neutral party here, I'm going to say that is a really tough question. Like beginning of the year, obviously that's
so funny
Stafford
that
by
it's a tough
far.
question, though. It's
And now it's like,
It's the
wow,
best.
I got to go look up the stats on Cooper Rush to figure this out.
Cooper Rush has not done a lot to beat the Cowboys. He doesn't he doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes.
That's how I see him
And,
too. Which
so he threw 2 interceptions last week. Both of them were nullified by penalty. And it's like
21-14.
I know I
So you
did my
can
Homer
see-
minute, but I am so over Cam Akers. I was like iffy on him when we started, and I'm over him now.
can't wait for Kyron Williams to get healthy. I have him in my dynasty league. I just can't wait. Like watching what's happening with the Rams running game right now. I cannot wait for him to get healthy. But
Okay,
So
real
both-
quick, just looking up the stats, I'll say that If you're looking for the floor play, if you're looking for the one that's guaranteed the points, you're going to go with Cooper Rush. If you're looking for a ceiling play, somebody that can really put up a 30-point game in case if things go right.
Could.
Yeah, no, I'm not predicting it, but
Stafford's
Stafford
more
can
likely.
put up 30 points. And looking
How
at
do you
stats
feel-
for this year, it bears that out.
How do you feel the coverage is going to be on Cooper Kupp from the Dallas Cowboys? Because that's going to really make a difference. On
Tight,
what
but it doesn't
Stafford's-
matter. Honestly, Cup is so good, and they have such a timing in that offense that those
Cowboys'
short...
plan is going to be to tackle him.
Yes. Like, Cup is going to get his.
He's going to get
just the way it
catches.
is.
Their plan is going to be to tackle him.
The big...
Their plan is going to be to sack Stafford, not
Right.
cover Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And honestly, that's what defenses have been doing this year.
the Rams'
is,
offensive line's been so bad.
Okay,
And
Cup
that's-
can have his catches.
Yes.
We're going to let Cup have his catches, but we're going to stop him as soon as he catches it, and we're not going to let anybody else have anything.
Yeah.
And that's been the defense that's been working against the Rams.
Yeah.
And so, but that still means that Cup is going to get his.
So, like, my whole thing with the Rams right now and why they're struggling is just because Matthew Stafford doesn't have time. He doesn't have time, and now he's playing against the defense who brings the most pressure in the league. Like they cause the most. They have the highest pressure rate in the league.
Okay, so fantasy picks. So I think we went over the Rams. I don't think we went over the Cowboys.
You got to start. Like I'm not starting Zeke in this game. I'm not starting him. I'm not. I wouldn't start Pollard. I would start CeeDee Lamb. I would start Michael Gallup, and that's it for the Cowboys.
I would agree with that. And Rams side, you don't want to start a running back. You're going to start Cup. You're not going to start anybody else.
I don't
Just
mind.
Kupp.
Honestly, I don't mind starting a running back because that's where you can get chunks of yards against the Cowboys is on the ground.
But you don't even know which one to start.
I know.
Yeah,
that's
that's
why.
true.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's a
It's like
flip.
if I the end of that sentence is if I knew who it was going to be
Yeah.
that was going to get the 15 plus carries, I would be okay starting that running back. But because we just don't know what's going on with the Rams right now,
30 seconds.
it's kind of out. I'm out. I'm with Ray. I'm out on Akers. I'm out on Darrell Henderson. I'm waiting for Kyron Williams to come back. I'm hoping that they figure out something with the offensive line because right now it doesn't look good.
So who you picking? You're obviously picking Cowboys. I'm obviously picking Rams.
So it comes down to me as the tiebreaker. And like I said before, this is a tough one. I think if Dak's in there, I think I definitely take the Cowboys.
I get to lone wolf on my boys and be there.
But with
yes.
Cooper Rush in there, the Rams at home, Ken being at the game to curse his Cowboys, I gotta pick the Rams.
Yeah, my girlfriend's gonna be in my Michael Irvin jersey.
Very nice.
You know,
That's
Is,
so
is
great.
it just you and her going?
yeah.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be so much fun. Yeah, and we've got the reunion tomorrow.
Oh, so we got Epics over in YouTube picking the Bengals because he knows that's the game we're talking about next. So Bengals are plus 3.5. The over under is 47.5.
I like
the
the
money
Bengals,
line
too.
at 150 for the Bengals and minus 175 for the Ravens. I'm actually going to disagree with our viewer and pick the Ravens. I'm not picking the Bengals this game.
He's really because you know what he has to because he's like he made the call at the beginning of the year,
Oh, yeah.
taking a step back, and then he was super happy with
He's
himself.
called it so far.
What are you talking about? They've won 2 in a row. They fucking
And go.
They broke Tua.
They lost 2 in a row.
Like, the Ravens are not to be trifled with, okay? Or the Bengals are not to be trifled with, okay? They'll break your quarterback.
Okay, so just to go back, this game, God, this is gonna be
So
one
fun.
heck of a game, man.
So fun.
Oh my goodness.
The
I
games
see a
last year
lot
were
of
so, like,
offense in
This
this
is Jamar
game.
Chase. Like to me, this is Jamar Chase hasn't had a go off game yet this year. This is it. Like he's
And it
gonna,
very well could be like
I think he's going to destroy
something I
them.
meant to look up that I didn't on the way over here was just how healthy the Ravens secondary is. We talked about them 2 weeks ago and how beat up they were, or actually 3 weeks ago, and how beat up they were, and that's why we were high on Tua that week that he absolutely went off. And so last week I think they had New England or something. A quarterback that couldn't take a Buffalo. What?
Ravens.
Here's a stat for you from
Oh,
Epic
that's
on
right. It was
YouTube.
Buffalo. So
Last 2
So
games against the
Buffalo-
Bengals for the Ravens, they gave up 41.
right.
Yeah.
I think that was both games actually last year, but
Joe Burrow has a personal vendetta against the Ravens defensive coordinator. I don't think he's their defensive coordinator anymore, actually. I think he might be gone now.
Yeah, so he's not going to really try.
But yeah, so now he's done. But he said something. The guy said something about him not being elite. or he didn't think that Joe Burrow had elite talent or something like that. It was something It was just something that was just like bulletin board worthy.
Gotcha.
And then Burrow just ripped him up last year twice. He threw for almost 1,000 yards in 2 games.
And like I said, if the Ravens
Am I lone wolf
secondary
in this?
isn't I honestly I haven't even picked yet. Like I'm still looking at this game like just I do not know.
No, I'm
this
picking
is
the-
a
I'm picking the
really
Bengals.
tough game for me.
So at the beginning of the year, he said, I think the Bengals are taking a step back.
I do.
And I disagreed.
I do think
And
you're taking so.
I disagree. I think they're getting better. I think the offensive
I'm going to take the Ravens at home.
I believe that the offensive line was going to come together and start to play better. And I think they're still going to get better. And they have, the last 2 weeks, stopped the bleeding, as Joe Burrow is not like just getting hit in the mouth over and over and over again anymore.
Finally, some diversity in our picks.
And
So starts and sits.
oh man, you start everybody.
Well, let me start off by saying that this is a game where I really think that this is going to be a good offensive game. I think a lot of points are going to be scored. I think it's a very good
Can I stop
game
you for
to
a
be
second?
targeting. But
hold on,
but,
1 second.
All right, I want to go back to my butt.
And so last week, Brian also predicted that the Sunday night game was going to be a low-scoring, very defensive struggle.
So I'm not 100% on my predictions.
I
But
just because it's like because
Okay.
it's the Sunday night game, and this is the first time that you've actually like
And
started the
because we brought-
conversation by being like laying out how you think the game's going to go.
because
Sorry.
you brought that up for the first time, I want to bring up our picks for the year so far.
Is that the first time?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
no.
sure Ray went over that. at the
No,
beginning
I
of
don't
the
think we
episode.
have. I don't
No,
think we have.
it's the first time he's bringing it up.
I'm just saying I am well ahead in the picks for the year. I'm just saying
Well
I'm not-
ahead. He's well ahead.
Yes, I'm 4 picks ahead.
He's
dude.
he's 4 picks ahead, which is exactly 1 per week. Well ahead. He's well ahead.
4 picks a week or 4 picks. That's
1 a week. That's exactly what that number is.
Hey, we've got
like
this
it.
4-pick gap between all of us.
17 games, and you're 1 ahead a week.
every week.
Killing
Yep,
it.
I love it.
Killing it.
Oh, Epic thinks they're taking a step back too. I'm not alone in this world.
Hey,
And he's a Cincinnati fan.
there you go. And let's say I've been kind of backing you up on that too. You know what I mean? Like your definition of taking a step back, I agree with. Like, are they a playoff team?
So Epic.
Yes.
So
but
hold on. Epic,
nowhere near
my
where they were
definition
last
of taking a step back is not that they won't reach the Super Bowl. I don't think they'll reach the Super Bowl. But to me, that's not a step back. To me, a step back would be them anything that is
Ooh, 30 seconds.
1 round in the playoffs or less. So that they need to get to the playoffs and win a game, or else they have taken a step back.
Gotcha.
But to me, if they get in, like even if they get in and they have to play in the wild card round and they win the wild card round and then they lose in the divisional round, to me that's not taking a step back.
If they don't get to the championship game, if they don't get the
I don't think that's taking
divisional
a step back. I don't.
championships, they definitely took a step
football is
back.
so hard. Football is
Agreed.
so
Agreed.
hard that like in like
Time's up.
the Giants, the 2 Super Bowls that the Giants won 10, 12 years ago, those teams just got hot.
No,
Neither of those teams were Super Bowl picks by anybody, even going into the playoffs of the years that they won.
and could Cincy be the Cinderella story again this
I'm not
year?
saying
Could they get
no.
it?
What
Yeah,
I'm saying
absolutely,
is that
but
what I think that all I'm saying is that I still think that like the 07 and the 11 Giants teams, those are the teams that went to the Super Bowl. The 08 team and the 2012 team, like it's hard because they won Super Bowls, they didn't lose the Super Bowls. But to me, like those teams, like it wasn't necessarily them taking a step back as a franchise, because it's so hard to like get that far into the playoffs in the end. So many things have to go right for you. You have to be healthy. You have to be playing well.
Ooh, we're on the next round.
So so the Giants were on that real quick. Let me try and finish this up. They got there in 2007, right? They didn't get there from 2008, 9, 10, and 11 But when they got there in 2011, it was basically the same team. Like, they didn't have Strahan anymore. The guys that Eli was throwing to had changed, but the offensive line was mostly the same. The defensive line was mostly the same. It was basically the same nucleus that had gotten back. So, to me, that franchise, like from 2007 to 2011, like that was basically the same team. They were a team that was dangerous enough to win the Super Bowl for those 5 years. Right. So I think, and that team, if you remember, they were playoff contenders every single year in that time. They were a dangerous team every single year. That's where I think the Bengals are. I think the Bengals are a dangerous team. I don't think they have enough talent everywhere that you can say that they're a Super Bowl pick, but I don't think it's a step back as a franchise if they are a division round exit.
The funny thing is I think that a lot of this just comes down to your definition of a step back, and I think your definition of a step back is a little different than ours.
And
I think that's what it comes down to.
I think you guys are a little more black and white about it. A little more. Oh, they didn't make the playoffs. They took a step back. They didn't make. They didn't make the. So if they didn't make the playoffs, that would be
more
a
credit. You're willing to give more abstract credit to it.
Bill Parcells always said that the only thing that matters is making the tournament.
And that's true.
And so that's my thing.
I agree with that completely.
So to me, a team that makes the tournament and wins a game is a Super Bowl contender. Because winning
the wild card round is right. Like if you say win a divisional game, yes, but some of those wild card games are just not.
Okay, hold on a second.
Passion Ken.
The wild card has gotten watered down by the 7th seed. We're only 2 seasons into that, so.
Can I answer a viewer question real quick?
Maybe that'll get better.
Epic wants to know how often we are streaming. We try to stream every Friday.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Currently, we're once a week.
Yeah, currently once a week. Sometimes if we can't do the Friday, we end up on Saturday. So that's
it's either Friday or Saturday. Though.
So either Friday or Saturday. Yeah. Yep. And we
Mostly
talk about
Friday.
this stuff. However, if we see a need to go up, then we'll visit that idea.
Yeah, and we're
when
active.
That comes.
Ray and I are both active on social media.
Yeah.
You can mail Brian.
My address is.
He'll actually send you stamps. He's been looking for a new pen pal since his died.
And we go live. I'm comfortable saying that we go live in the 7 o'clock hour. I don't want to give an exact time, but I am comfortable saying we go live in the 7 o'clock hour.
Usually between 7 and 7:30.
We get together right at 7 o'clock. And then usually what happens is we talk to each other for a minute, and sometimes that conversation will take a little longer, and
sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 30. Yeah.
And if you want to go back and see how wrong and right we've been throughout this season, you can go check us out on the podcast platforms.
And just
we're available everywhere. Yeah, you can find us on YouTube. You can find I re-listen to them sometimes on Spotify because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys good advice.
And if you're going to do
apologize for the bad things that I say.
If you're going to do that, guys, please re-listen to last week's because we gave lots of really good advice last week. I felt pretty proud of. So.
Yeah, I told this guy, I was like, you know what, last week's was so good. We got to start doing cut-ups of when we're right and posting it to social media.
We were really right on a few of those last week. Yeah,
I did give you some moderator controls on the Facebook, so whenever you want.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, whenever you want to do stuff,
I should do that.
And if you were on Facebook, I would have done the same thing too.
I don't open that thing.
So should we move on to the Monday night game?
Let's do it.
Okay, so. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer back up. It's Las Vegas Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs with the Raiders at +7, over under at 51.5. If you're betting on the money line on the Raiders, you're at a +260. And if you're doing the money line on the Kansas City Chiefs, you're at -315. Go ahead and go, guys. Go for it.
All right. Again, my first thing is this is a nice fantasy game. I'm kind of glad this one is not on the DFS slate because I like to have 2 or 3 big games to choose from, and when there starts to be 5, 6, and 7, it's just like, oh my god, there's too much to choose from. So I'm glad this is a
So
later
having
game.
the Cincinnati Baltimore game off and having this
Yes,
one off, it helps a little
It
bit.
actually helped quite a bit on my picks
Yeah.
there. So we're expecting some totals. We're expecting some points. But on the other hand, Kansas City, you're starting Mahomes.
Yeah.
And then who?
And Kelsey,
Kelsey,
and that's
of
it.
course.
And Edwards-Helaire, you got to start him. And
Yeah,
you know what?
okay.
And here's the thing.
But even Edwards-Helaire,
hold on. Let me talk for about 30 seconds about that. Weeks 1 through 3, I was totally off. There was nothing like I saw what he did. Okay, he scored points, but I watched his snap count, looked at it, and the carries. Like he's splitting the workload, or if anything, like ceding some of the workload to Jerick McKinnon. Last week that changed, and he looked really good. And when they wanted to close out the game, they did it on his back.
Okay.
You got to start him.
Before I forget, you guys,
Like I really like Pacheco, but you got to start him.
before I forget, we do have a request to circle back to the Jags Texans game.
Sure.
Okay.
Just a
We can put
Yeah.
a pause on this and ask,
we'll finish it up and
Yeah,
then we'll
let's
circle
finish
back.
this one. Go back. Let's see. So
So yeah, Mahomes.
Kansas City, I more or less agree with that. Like I say, Edwards-Helaire is a little bit iffy, but honestly, if you've got him on your team, you probably have to start him. So
Good
enough. Vegas, you got to love our
Jacobs.
running. Yeah, you got to love Jacobs there.
The work
you gotta
that
love
Jacobs is getting
Adams
is just
there. You got to
Chef's kiss.
absolutely.
It's just like he is.
If you drafted him, you're
And what are you
Oh,
guys'
yeah.
thoughts on Sky Moore?
I'm out. but like
for this year.
for this year. And,
Thank you for the question
But
coming
we're
from you, too.
we're out. But we're saying we're out on every Chiefs receiver outside of Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Like there's just you can't
Yes.
trust any of them. You can't trust any of them.
And all of them are gonna have good weeks.
This
They
week,
all
so
will.
so yeah, okay. I'm so glad you put it that way because so this week right now in the league that we all play together in a 12-man PPR league, and this week I'm playing against the manager who has MVS.
He's not on the waiver wire.
He's the only. He should be.
Yes.
But it terrifies me that he's not because he's the one that hasn't scored yet. He's due. You know what I mean? He's due. So I kind of feel
I
like
work in a casino, so the it's due argument just does not work on me, brother. It just does not work
this
on
is
me.
football. This isn't the casino. This is not the casino. You, gotta get
You know
out-
what though?
Until one
I
of our
do
props
love that
passed
he
it.
works at a casino.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys have a book thing? Oh, I know you guys were working on getting the bookings open.
We
It
digress.
depends. Proposition 26 and 27. If one of them pass this year, then we will have a bookie. We will have
27, we can do online betting, right?
Yes.
God,
So
I don't care what the
All right, guys.
political
November
FYIs
6th. Is it November 6th? Is that the voting day?
first Tuesday, November. I'm not sure.
I think it's November 6th, guys. Like, but yeah, November vote.
Yeah, I don't really care about
want-
all the
'cause
jargon
like,
behind
'cause we
it.
can't
I
even-
want to do my
because we
online
can-
betting.
So- Amen.
Because we
brother.
can't even really talk about all the prop bets and stuff like that because we're not able to do them.
Right.
And I would love to. I would love to
Yeah.
talk about prop bets. Prop bets are so much fun.
Agreed.
But we can't do them here in California. So
Not yet.
So they're not. It's not really
Coming
worth
soon.
Talking about.
I like look at all those commercials and the propaganda. I'm like, I don't care. I want to bet online. I'm a grown adult. I don't
Exactly.
care.
So
Exactly.
anyway, we digressed pretty bad, but where
Ooh,
that's-
last 30 seconds.
where that started was with MVS and my thinking that he's due this weekend. And the other reason I say that is because Mahomes sets, like when people asked him about it, he was like, hey, some weeks it's going to be this guy, some weeks it's going to be this guy, some weeks it's going to be that guy. I'm trying, and he also made a point to point out, I think it was he owed somebody at the time, like he owed someone targets. So like Mahomes himself is keeping mental
Wrap it
tabs
up.
of who needs to get more targets and more work. And if you look at it, MVS is leading the team in targets outside of Kelsey.
Is he really?
Yes, he has the most targets amongst receivers.
That's not an argument for him.
He's
because
just
been
not
doing
efficient. No, he's
nothing.
done. No, he's doing nothing. He's given you 7 targets and 2 catches.
Yeah.
Like that's happening. But
Jake.
eventually it's going to be 5 catches and 120 yards and a touchdown.
Twice this year. You're right.
I know, and it's
Yeah.
going to be this week because I'm playing against him. But anyway, I
All right.
digress.
And
So we all picking Chiefs?
yes.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Wow.
like that.
I'm gonna pick the Raiders again,
Okay. Now, just
and
real
the
quick-
reason I'm gonna pick the Raiders
Uh-huh.
is because I think that the Raiders are gonna come out and run the ball against the Chiefs.
Sorry, just real quick. Are there, other than Devontae Adams, is there any receiver that you want to start from Las Vegas? I think that's an important
Waller.
question. Okay.
start Waller.
And Waller's been very hit or miss, but
That's,
still,
but I would
you
still start him.
kinda
You have to.
start
You
him.
have to
Yeah.
start him. And then you know what? If Renfro's not going to play, you still start Matt Collins because he still got the targets. He just didn't do as much with him last week, but they're still going to look for him. Like,
So then you're saying if Renfro starts, you should start Renfro?
yes,
Okay, so
Yes.
you should start the number
Yes.
one, and number two receivers.
yes,
what you're
yes,
saying.
yes.
I'd be a little bit iffy on the number two,
And I don't
but-
want to, and I don't want to stream Derek Carr this week. He's played terribly.
Who were we talking about earlier, though? Carr or
Lawrence. I would take Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Okay,
I would take Trevor Lawrence over Derek Carr this week.
all right. Yeah, that's a good line to say. Something to throw out.
But that being said, I think like Josh Jacobs has looked like a beast. Like it's not just that he's getting volume; he looks awesome.
Yeah.
like he actually looks awesome. And I don't like that. I'm gonna lone wolf this one, and I don't. This is the one that I don't fully believe. That's gonna happen. Like it doesn't surprise me at all if the Chiefs blow them out. But I think the Raiders are going to be able to run the football. I think they're going to be able to score. And they actually do play pretty good pass defense.
Yeah. And I will say that this is a divisional game, and you just never know in those divisional games.
And they did
weird
get
stuff.
They got him last year,
happens.
right?
It's the year before.
Year
but,
before, okay.
Yeah.
And I know Derek Carr's
When they circled the stadium. yeah.
Yes, I know
That's
Derek
2 years
Carr.
ago.
I know Derek Carr has only won there once.
Yes, that was the year.
Yes.
That was right before Gruden got fired.
So
But
we're,
yeah.
so we're almost done. We got the Thursday night game.
We had a question about the Jacksonville game. You said, or
Yeah, we'll circle back after the
Okay.
after Thursday game.
Okay.
Now I need to give you guys the caveat. This is the Thursday game. It's far from us, so we're doing our best.
Yeah, we
with
have
it being
very
so-
limited information.
so far.
and in a very disgusting matchup.
Okay, so we have, speaking of the matchup, we have Washington at Chicago. Washington at -1 with the over of 40. If you're betting on the Commanders, the money line is -120. And if you're betting on the Bears, it's +100. Go ahead, guys.
All right,
Go.
I think I can almost sum this up here. Let's see. I'm going to take Washington. Not super happy about it, but that's who I'm taking. And fantasy-wise, this is a Thursday night game. Thursday night games consistently score less than the other games. If you're looking for a tiebreaker, if you have two people kind of that are just completely even and one's on a Thursday, one's on a Sunday, you always want to start the Sunday, in my opinion. And then on top of that, you have two bad teams, not in great matchups. Like, I guess you can start McLaurin. I guess you can start whichever running back starts for Chicago. But other than that,
You want no part of this
Nothing.
game. Like
Nothing.
this is you might want to play like I mean, you kind of start defenses against the Bears.
Yeah.
See, you could start the Washington defense.
both defenses are good.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So, I think we all expect that the Commanders are going to be going into this game 1-4. I personally think that the Titans, like,
You grab me a beer, dude?
if this is an ugly game, and they give up 30+ points, I could see Jack Del Rio getting fired.
Thank you, sir.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Already? Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is it's gonna this. I like if they go to 1-4, and then they're I think it's the wheel's gonna fall off. I really do.
And I really think, in my opinion, I don't think a lot was thought of Washington this year. I don't think like a lot was
I
expected
think people
of
thought
them.
that they were going to challenge for a playoff spot. I think people did expect.
I think
that.
they thought they could, but wasn't expected. With Carson Wentz, with everything going,
They
like,
have so
they
much
could.
talent on defense. Like they have, and now they were one of those teams that was supposed to be a quarterback away, and they're not. They're not a quarterback away. Like it's not just Carson Wentz. Like this
Honestly,
thing,
and I just want to throw it out there. Carson Wentz has been okay.
they're often
He's been okay.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't been terrible.
He's been okay, but he's going to slip and fall in that stadium, and he's like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's been Carson Wentz. But their offense is boring. Like they're not creative. They don't do things to put the ball into their playmakers' hands, which is what the modern NFL, like they find, like it took people fucking forever to excuse me. The first one. It took people forever to figure out that the smartest thing you can do is to put the ball into your playmakers' hands. Right. Like forever we played this game of quarterback drops back and attempts to throw long completion to to playmaker, and it's like, no, just give him the ball. Just give him the ball. Like give him the ball on a shovel pass as he's coming in motion across throw him a bubble screen. You know, let him come on a reverse. Just get the guys the ball, and they don't do that. They just don't do. They still run like a traditional offense, and it doesn't work.
What do you mean by I don't think anyone thought that epics? Please elaborate on that comment. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys followed that.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's not what he's referring to.
So who do you?
Maybe he means that nobody thought that the Commanders were going to be contenders, or maybe
what are you picking? You picking Bears or you picking Commanders?
I hate this game.
I don't want to pick.
It's up to Ken to figure out who.
I guess
so
my point in saying that is like I think the wheels are going to fall off. Like I am predicting that they're going to be 1-4. I'm going to pick the Bears because I think it's just going to get worse and worse and worse for the.
They're playing at the Bears and that stadium sucks.
They're not ready to take command. You know.
Ray, who are you taking?
I'm taking Chicago Bears, dude.
No, I finally get a lone wolf
Next week.
It's on next week.
No, you got
and
Miami.
Washington.
You got Miami too.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's a good one.
Right. Yeah, no, I like Miami.
Yeah.
I like Miami a lot.
You just don't like the Jets. You don't like Miami a lot. You just don't like the Jets.
No, I disagree with that. From before the season started, I've been on Miami. Like I really think Miami's a team that's better than people think. I think that offense is going to be really good. I think Tua is better than people think. I've been on Miami, so no, I like Miami.
Okay,
but I like the Jets too. Like I think the Jets are improved. I think they're going to be.
The Jets are my favorite team to watch right now.
I expect them to be a 4-win team, and I think they're going to be an 8-win team.
I like this.
To me, that's a big compliment.
And I think I said this last year too, and it held up. The Jets and I think I picked the Jets and the Lions as my like wild cards to make the playoffs. The teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that could make the playoffs this upcoming year. And I still do really like the Lions, but man, they got to get shit figured out on defense.
Whoops. You're not wrong there.
It's really bad on defense. But the Jets, I think the Jets are good.
But they've had enough draft picks over the last couple of years that they're sneaky good. Like people don't realize how good.
You're talking
some
about the
of
Jets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, didn't know what I said, but no, like they're sneaky good in that they've gotten all these
a lot of
draft
talent.
picks.
Yeah,
they've got
loaded.
talent on their team. So now if they can just figure out a way to put it together, you're right. They can be good.
And see, here's the thing: is like when I was talking about like that play where he shoveled that ball out of like. It was.
I remember that play. That one wasn't impressive to me, but
to me it was.
There was a couple of others that were.
So the reason I fixate on that play is to me that was because it was such a heads up play. It was such like the panic version of that play is that he picks up the ball or struggles to pick up the ball and just gets tackled right there. But to have the wherewithal to pick up the ball and throw it. That's
but as
like,
I recall, the throw was a little dangerous.
Wasn't
there somebody out there?
No,
I can't remember.
The danger in the throw was that he didn't make it to the line, and it might have still been because I was when I watched it in real time. I was like, are they going to call intentional grounding? Was what I was wondering, and when they didn't call grounding, I was like, I turned to my girlfriend. I was like, that was awesome. Like and she you know she gave me the same silly look that you give me when I'm talking about it because it's just like his mind was still working. The play broke down. There was tragedy on the play, and his mind was still working. Like he was still working to make a positive out of that negative. Like he didn't panic. And watching him in the pocket, like he just I feel like they're a team that can like build off of that game. Like they can all watch the film from that and everybody can gain confidence in what they're doing because they know they've got a guy who can do things.
We definitely gave them too much to build on, that's for sure.
Sorry that it happened to you guys, but I'm so excited for the Jets.
Yeah.
So excited for the Jets. I'm a Jets fan this year. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, which game did we need to circle back to there, Ray?
So we're going to
Sorry,
circle
guys.
back to the Jacksonville, Houston at Jacksonville. Okay. And
Okay.
that's +7 for Houston with the over-under at 43.5. And if you're betting the money line on the Texans, that's a +265. And if you're betting on the Jags, that's a -320.
And we all picked the Jags on this one.
Right. And to throw that, like, Jags are a big favorite. I think the Jags defense is good play.
Love Trevor Lawrence.
And we have a question too.
But
after
there
this.
can definitely be some good offensive plays in this. If you're just strictly going like fantasy wise, I think there's a lot of fantasy plays
I think
in
this
this
is the
game.
Travis Etienne weekend. I
Right,
think this is the one.
and I'm going to James Robinson on that one. But either way, I think we're saying that the backfield for Jacksonville
Yes, yeah,
is going to
and
be
I mean,
good.
we're not geniuses by saying that because it's like starting running backs against Houston is something you could do going back to last year.
Right.
You just do it. Like you should just be doing it.
But do it.
Yeah, but do it. And and you know maybe other people aren't thinking about that, so you look like a genius. But I think Travis Etienne, if you're somebody who's like if you're missing somebody this week, who's missing at running back this week?
Oh, geez.
Who'd we just lose? We lost Javonte Williams. So you lost Javonte Williams last week. You're looking for somebody to start. Like I think that's somewhere you can turn. I think you can turn to Travis Etienne. I think you can start Etienne this weekend. I have him in a couple leagues. He's been super disappointing, but the important thing is that his usage has been going up. His yards per carry are good. He's explosive in the pass game.
But I will say he's going to be limited somewhat to where he is going to be that passing down back.
To me,
He's never going to be
so
the first
to
and
me,
second down back.
I disagree. To me,
Really?
I think, and I was saying this like we should have a longer conversation about this off air. The James Robinson metrics are interesting, and like the James Robinson metrics are trending down, and the usage rate for ETN is trending up. And I do think that it is entirely possible that we have a game where Travis Etienne is so good that it flips.
Okay.
I do,
And that's what I expected at the beginning of the season.
What you have to remember is that James Robinson is a 6th round draft pick.
No, I agree.
And Travis Etienne is a 1st round draft pick.
And coming into this year, I was really high on ETN.
And a lot of people were, and it didn't start and it didn't
then
start out
the
good.
first 4 weeks, I'm just like, oh, I guess
everything
James
you
Robinson
hear
actually is the man.
from Doug Peterson would lead you to believe that you should be on James Robinson.
And we do have a question. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Wizzy Jefferson, who is clearly a Vikings fan. First time I commented on our YouTube page, I believe.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Big trade. Mark Andrews, Michael Thomas, DK Montgomery for Ertz, Deontay Johnson, Juju, Mixon. Who wins?
Wow.
Mark
Okay,
Andrews.
that is huge.
The
All
Mark
right.
Andrews side wins.
I need that one again. Okay, first side is
Mark Andrews, DK.
Michael Thomas, Montgomery for Ertz, Deontay Johnson, Juju, Mixon.
Yeah, I would say on the Andrews side.
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever had the first side of that trade is the one that I'd want.
Yeah, because DK is a monster too. The running backs are kind of whatever. I don't like Mixon either.
Yeah.
And that's
But, I mean, he's
but,
good,
but
but-
if you look at the other side, Mixon's supposed to be the jewel,
Right.
And that's what
And
I'm
I
saying.
would-
Is,
I would agree with you.
And I don't think that Mixon is that great. His efficiency has been terrible. I've said that I think that the Bengals' offensive line is going to get better, and a byproduct of them getting better could be Mixon, being more efficient. But so far, it's looked really hideous.
Yes,
Like
totally agree.
he's saved himself with,
And
with
if
touchdowns.
you look last year, like he is kind of a hit or miss guy.
He's
got
not.
some
He's a
weeks.
volume
not-
guy.
He's a
He's a
like,
volume guy
He is
for sure.
not a superstar.
You're
He's
lucky. Like you're
he's
lucky
good.
that he has no competition. But his
Yes.
backup is Samaje P. Ryan.
Completely agree.
So our second question, in regards to the Jags, coming from Epix because he's a Jags fan. You really think it's ETN over JR?
No.
No, no. I think I could see that happening.
Well, and let me just.
I
don't
and-
think.
and I-
give me 1 second. Like I don't think I made my point clear in that earlier. Like I am on the James Robinson side. Ken is on the ETN side, and I can kind of see where he's coming from. But especially this week, I am all over James Robinson, and we're about to start our DFS picks, and I think you'll find out that I'm all over James Robinson.
And me personally, the way that things are trending, I think that, like I just said, I think it's a matter of time before we have an ETN blow up game and the script gets flipped, and that ETN ends up getting more work because he's the cream always rises to the top. And we're talking about a 6th round draft pick versus a 1st round draft pick.
And I agree with that.
It's just eventually he's going to overtake James Robinson. He has to.
Well, here's my thing on that.
James
is that
Robinson's just gotten lucky so far.
They're different types of runners. See, here's the thing: is ETN really is that receiving back? He's that
a Kamara type.
Exactly.
He's like, you don't want to give him
and-
20 carries a game. You don't. You want to have
So
some.
you have to have a complement.
So I'm not saying Robinson's going to leave. I'm just saying that I think ETN eventually becomes the guy, and you're looking at him like an Alvin Kamara, and then you're looking at James Robinson as like your Mark Ingram.
And I would agree with that because
And if
that's
you
what I
remember
thought at
that-
the beginning of the season, and I think that will eventually be the case. But this week, James Robinson.
Yeah, and I am the gambler, and I'm gonna and this is a great matchup for their running backs. Doug Peterson is a really smart guy. This seems like an excellent opportunity to give ETN work.
Shot. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question there. Do we have any other questions, or is it time to move on to the DraftKings lineups?
Ooh, DraftKings, baby.
Just a comment that JR hasn't gotten lucky.
his 3 long touchdown runs, when I watch them, they just don't look repeatable. Because he looks so slow when he's running. He just doesn't look like he has breakaway speed at all, and it just seems fluky. He has these 40+ yard touchdown runs, and you have to forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think he has 2 40+ yard touchdown runs and a 25+ yard touchdown run. I'm pretty sure. And if you remove those things, like keep the 6 points for the touchdown, but you remove the chunk yards that he got on what is a busted play, and he looks much worse, much worse. Because the rushing attempts in between those bust outs are not good. Like, he looks much more like Joe Mixon the rest of the time. Like, we would be so much more excited about Joe Mixon if Joe Mixon
Had some bust outs.
had 3 20+ yard not even touchdown runs, but if he had 3 runs on the year that were 20+ yards, because the longest run of the year for Mixon so far is like 12 yards or something like that.
And I will just say that James Robinson, I think, is getting those runs because he has vision.
I agree.
Like,
100%. I agree.
that is
He's not
his strength.
I agree. I just don't think it's repeatable, like, long term. It just doesn't seem that way.
What were you saying, Ray?
So we do have an opportunity for some advice for Wizzy. His top 3 drafted running backs are out: Swift, Montgomery, and Mitchell. And his receivers are Jefferson, DK, Ayuk, and Thomas. And other than Jeffy, aren't playing great. So I need to make some sort of move for a wide receiver. His quarterback is Stafford.
Oh, you got to drop Stafford. There's got to be a better quarterback on the waiver wire, buddy.
First of all, I am sorry.
Yeah, that's
you
rough.
have had some bad
You've had
luck,
some,
brother.
you've had some bad luck.
Like, just the fact that you've been listening every week and trying to get better, and like, I can tell you're somebody that cares. I can tell that you're somebody that's like had a decent
This is
draft.
Wizzy, not Wadabezi.
And
Oh, okay.
This is a new
I
viewer.
did think it was one of his.
This is Miss New Viewer.
I'm not. We're not. So we're not without knowing.
But either way,
without knowing what
bad
you're.
luck.
So, if you're in a good position record wise, and I don't know what your record is, and because it's hard to say, because like, if you're 3-1 or better, actually, if you're 2-2 or better, I wouldn't be panicking. You're
Agreed.
like those guys are going to come back. Don't drop anybody too good to try and squeeze out victories right
He's
now.
1-3. Are you in a full PPR? What are you in? How
Okay,
many,
so if you-
people in your league?
If you're 1-3, I think you need to cash in on Jefferson, and that sucks.
but really shop them around.
Yeah, don't.
Like,
yeah,
get a huge
get
haul
a
for 'em
good
because
haul.
you need
Go
to get a huge haul.
and
for 'em.
now, so we talked about this earlier. So when we were talking about shopping for trades, remember we're talking about looking for 2-for-1s.
full PPR, 10 man.
And we were digging around
10 man.
and we were digging around at the bottom of the barrel, right? This is the opposite. You're at the bottom. You want to go to the top. You want to look at the teams that are 4-0, 3-1, because they're sitting pretty. They think they're good.
Exactly.
And you want to take their good, like a couple of good pieces off their team because they're like, oh yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to run for my championship. I'm going to get Justin Jefferson on my team.
Right.
And you can get yourself 2 startable pieces, and you need to do that. Like you it's Friday night. It's a
like
little
that.
it's a little late in the week, but you need to do that.
Good
immediately.
advice.
All right, moving on to DraftKings. You guys have some bets. All right, so how did we do on DraftKings last week? I scored a 132.24.
Well, I will say that I've got a shot of tequila right here, and I will
my
go
teams
ahead and
went
take that
off.
for
I
being a
don't-
loser last week because yuck.
Yeah.
I put my teams together
Do we
in a
put-
hurry last week because I had some scheduling issues and
Did
whatnot.
we text
and
each other
man,
the scores last week?
No, we didn't.
I feel like we did
Yeah,
because
no,
you
we
did.
did.
Yeah.
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 Well,
we
I
did.
don't. Can you read them to me?
I'm gonna,
I was the loser. That's all I know. So
yes,
I'm shot.
Yeah, he's taking a shot for being so terrible at fantasy football. Yeah. Yeah, he was 71-22 in cash and 129.08 in tournament. Ray, you were 132 in cash, 136, and then I was 111 in cash and 140 in tournament.
And
What was your cash game? Was Brian's cash game?
70. So Brian was 71.22 for cash.
71?
yes. Like that's what I was gonna say. Is like
Don't take advice from this guy,
dude, if you're looking at my lineups last week, like I had all the winners. Like everybody that was like a major breakout that
Just
that
not
was
together in the same lineup.
never on the same lineup. I had 6 different lineups and I had 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. Like
Fire,
what
fire,
the hell?
ice.
Yes, that was
Fire,
every
fire,
lineup.
fire, ice. If I could have just put those together.
And then my cash game lineup, the one where I was like, okay, well, like I'm just going for a floor. Like I'm gonna
you got
have
the
this.
floor. He found it.
Oh my god, it was ice all the way down. Like, how do you do that? I couldn't have done that if I tried. Like, oh my god.
So you heard him. He didn't try. Did you take
anyway.
that? Did you take your shot?
I just did.
Okay, good. All right.
So we got a question.
Yes,
Do you
please.
guys think Swift, Montgomery, Mitchell, Stevenson are going to be solid? Would you trade Jefferson to get 2 solid wide
Swift,
receivers?
Montgomery, Jefferson, Stevenson.
Swift, Montgomery, Mitchell, Stevenson. Do you think they're going to be solid? And would you trade Jefferson to get 2 solid wide receivers?
I wouldn't. I would rather refill the receiver room than the running back room and try and get more points right now because you have running backs that are coming back. So you don't want to overload yourself on running back and then put yourself in a position where you need to trade one of those guys.
When you get a couple people back, you want to be in
Yeah.
a position to be like, now I'm a stud.
Yeah.
Now I'm winning.
Yes.
yes.
So rather than trade Justin Jefferson to get more running backs, I would absolutely love to trade him to get 2 good wide receivers.
But good wide receivers.
Good wide receivers. Good. Like you're
So
talking.
let's see. Like,
So that
we talked about Hopkins earlier. Would that be an interesting?
that
thing?
would be interesting.
So Hopkins and
Hopkins plus somebody who's going off like a Kirk, like a.
even, I think you could even get better than that.
I think Kirk's really good. Maybe
I do
I'm
too,
really,
but I
I'm
don't
really
think
high on
most
Kirk.
people think he is.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I think he's one of those. He's doing great, but he's only been doing great for 4 weeks, and people just haven't really recognized the name yet.
And so he doesn't have that name recognition yet. That's part of it, but
Godwin is another one that's good because he hasn't.
there you go.
So, like, for instance, in our league, the owner of Chris Godwin is not doing well and could benefit from selling him. So,
I just realized that was a jab at me. I was like, that name sounds familiar. I was like, that name sounds familiar. I'm kind of already wrote off this season, so I'm like, whatever.
So anyway,
ride it out.
That is a great place to go. Like, he went to Hopkins, Godwin, guys that haven't done damage yet, but are going to do damage, and pair them with somebody who maybe is better than we thought they were going to be this year.
The only reason why I haven't started trading is because I have no idea how to do it.
And the reason
the app, I don't know how to do
Listen
it.
to our podcast.
And then
I don't know what buttons to
that would
push.
that would definitely be my goal in trading Justin Jefferson right now is like, well, he needs wins, so he can't really trade for DeAndre Hopkins, but you could trade for a Godwin. You could. Who's another person that fits that mold?
Hopkins is in 2 weeks. Honestly,
No, but he has to win this week.
Right. Well,
So you can't you can't trade Jefferson. If you like, so
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
rather sit on Jefferson
I see what you're
than
saying.
trade for
Yeah.
Hopkins, who's coming back in 2 weeks. So,
because you do need to win this week.
so you have to trade for pieces that are playing now. So I think like that would be my favorite target would be to find the Godwin manager and see if I could get Chris Godwin plus.
And something good, yeah.
Yeah.
Something good.
Do
I
you-
like that advice.
Do you guys like Bailey Zappi
No.
in DFS
No, not
against
at
the
all.
Lions?
No, but both running backs. I like both running backs against the Lions and DFS.
Okay, so shots to be paid.
He did.
He did? Okay,
He did.
so
we're on our cash lineups first, and since he lost, he can go first.
there you go.
I'm excited about it. That's all right. I really like this week's lineup a lot better than
He liked
last
last week
week's.
too. So.
Well, no, actually, I remember last week going, okay, I put this together at the last second, so.
I just put mine together last second.
That's not what he said on air, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'll take the pretty in that one. All right, let's see. Double up, okay. All right, so for quarterback, I think I'm taking the guy that's absolute chalk, and I think everybody's probably playing or should be playing, and that's Tom Brady. At 6,000, he's just an absolute steal. He's getting all his weapons back. Like, it's just, it doesn't even make sense, the price. Like, you have to pick Tom Brady. And with Tom Brady, I mean, you might as well go with Godwin, like we were just talking about him. He's at 5,900. He's only that low because he's just coming up back off injury. He had some practice last week coming back. Godwin, I like. I think he's way underpriced. Let's see. Coming back on the other side. Actually, I don't think I have anybody on Atlanta. So, all right. Running backs. I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert. I think he's a bit of
How much is he this week?
5,900.
Oh, that's still really cheap.
That's what I'm saying. He's a steal. He's going against the 26th ranked defense for running backs like in Minnesota. Like, Herbert's going to have a decent game. He could have a great game, but he's at least going to have a decent game. And I think you can say the same thing about James Robinson. We've been talking about him for a while. Like, he is my other guy. I really think James Robinson is going to have a week. And if he doesn't, he's going to have a decent week. He's not going to have a bad week. There's
He'll
just
get
no way.
carries for sure. Yeah.
So let's see. Wide receiver, Godwin. I went with Olave. I think Olave is very cheap at 5,700. Plus, he's the only one there. I mean, just what choice do you have? I see Ken give me a side eye look here. I think
I love Olave. I traded for him in Dynasty. It's my favorite move so far in Dynasty was trading for Chris Olave. Like, I feel like I robbed the guy. It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yeah, and he's been good so
far. We are going
and
to win championships together,
Yeah.
me and Chris Olave.
with Thomas out, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. I think Mike Williams is going to be very good this week.
That's a good one.
With Allen out, I think he's the big target in that offense. And I think between the Chargers and Cleveland, it's going to be a high-scoring game.
And so on the other side in my flex, I took Chubb. I think Chubb is just automatic this week.
How much for Chubb?
8,000.
Woo!
And the rank for the Chargers is 30th. And just Chubb is going to get all the work. I mean, there's just no way he doesn't get 20 carries. There's just no way. And against a defense like that, that's going to produce some yardage. So I love the floor there and could have a very high ceiling. Defense is a no-brainer. The Cowboys at 2,500. I hate to put it out there, but
He's right, though.
at
Right.
2,500, that is just way too cheap for that defense.
I can see that in tournament, but not on the cash.
Nah, it's just cheap. So, and then my last, here's
That
my
was good.
Here-
that was good right there, actually, because it's true. It's true.
here's my most here's my interesting pick. Here's my throw out there for the week that like people aren't there really tossing out there. I think this is somebody that this isn't somebody you want in your regular league. All right, don't pick this guy up and play him in your regular league. But in DFS, Cameron Brate is out.
Yep.
And Atlanta
Oh my God.
Atlanta has the 30th ranked defense against the tight end. Like Atlanta has been super
Who
bad.
are you starting?
Super bad against the tight end
Who
for
are
the
you
last
starting?
3 years.
What's his name?
I'm going to go with Cotton. And I call him Cotton because it is C. Otten. Otton, if you need to know how to spell him, because I sure didn't.
He's
But
gonna,
see,
you're drinking again next week.
Mr. Cotton.
He's going runner 71 points.
Yeah.
Mr. Cotton is
He's trying to stay under 100 in cash.
2,500. He is the Stone Min. So even if this guy gets 2 catches and 20 yards, you're like, nah, cool. You know what I mean? And he's guaranteed to get at least that against this Atlanta defense. Like, Otten is going to have some catches. So good luck.
I'm watching for that. That's now my favorite.
My hot take,
That's
brother.
now my favorite thing to watch for this weekend is if
Cotton!
is if Cotton is doing work. I'm gonna watch the Cotton Gin in Georgia.
Bring it on.
All right. So that was fun. All right.
Dude, you loved everything else. Just the Cotton was weird.
I wasn't too fired up about the Cowboys pick either.
Yeah, he was.
well,
No,
whatever.
that's why it was fun. I loved all of it actually. So I've not had success with this stack yet, but we're gonna run it back because I just Dawson Knox is out and Isaiah
You
McKenzie.
paid up?
Isaiah
Wow.
McKenzie has a concussion, and Gabe Davis is like, I mean, he's still. I think he might be plucking rose petals to see if he's going to play this weekend. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen as my quarterback. And
I wonder how many people that reference was lost on. Because that's an old ass reference.
Yeah,
I
was.
got it.
I liked it though.
He said, I got it.
Old man got it.
Yeah, the old man got it. That's funny. He loves me not.
And for those of you guys, we'll get back to the questions as soon as we're done with our DraftKings stuff.
So yeah, starting quarterback for my cash team is Josh Allen at 8,200. At running back, I'm going to go cheap, but I'm going to go with volume and matchup with Rashad Penny at 5,300. He just had the monster game at Detroit, and I don't expect that to happen again. But I do expect him to continue to have most of the carries, and we'll see if he can run it back. Because he went on a tremendous run to end the year last year, and it didn't matter who he was playing against. He did it against San Francisco twice. So we'll see. I have Rashad Penny in a bunch of my leagues, and I've been extremely disappointed this year. But last week was really nice, and hopefully he can keep it up. And then at 5,500 to pair with him, I've got Ramondre Stevenson, which is probably one of my favorite starts of the weekend. That Lions rush defense is just god awful. God awful. They can't stop anybody. It's crazy.
So why Stevenson over Harris?
He gets the catches. Stevenson is getting all of the receiving work. And that's really the reason that the carries are pretty even. and they're both effective. So I honestly expect both of them to score this weekend. But I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be a better value because he was $100 less.
Way better.
And so the value, like in my opinion, Ramondre Stevenson should have been like $500 more because of the receiving work. It didn't make any sense to me that Damian Harris was higher.
But because Harris is getting the goal line work.
Moving on. At receiver, I've got Stephon Diggs is at 8,400 to pair with Josh Allen. Okay. Like I just said, I think all the receivers for Buffalo are in trouble, and Diggs could just get like 14 or 15 targets this weekend. Okay. And score twice because it's the Steelers and they suck. Pot shot. Mm-hmm. All right, and then I spent up on my quarterback and my receiver and a defense, so I had to save at receiver.
Wait, you didn't go with Dallas defense?
No, I didn't.
What is going on? Okay,
I went with Dallas receiver Michael Gallup.
Oh, okay.
At $5,000.
All right.
Also at $5,000, I went with Elijah Moore for the New York Jets.
The Ghost?
He's so. You watched the game, right?
I've watched pieces of the game.
So,
I haven't watched the whole game.
I'm talking about the Steelers Jets game.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
So in the first half, Elijah Moore was the guy he was going to. The Steelers shut him down in the second half. They made Wilson go elsewhere. The Steelers were able to do that, and I'm not confident that the Dolphins are going to be able to do that. That's where I'm at on that. But the work is still there, and Zach Wilson is not, like, based on what I've seen, like, he's good enough to get to the ball to the guy who's open. All right. Elijah Moore is very, very talented. So I think it's not, I wouldn't call it a dart throw, but it's somewhere in that area.
It's not what I would expect in your cash lineup.
Hey, for $5,000, like, you have to.
He is cheap.
Yeah,
he is cheap.
Yeah.
Well, you had to spend up on your
I spent
big
up on
tandem there.
I spent up for my quarterback, my receiver, and so I went down and got the third Jets wide receiver as far as targets are concerned. At tight end, I've been betting on him for a little while, and I think eventually this is going to pay off, and that's Logan Thomas. He's 3,200.
Check his health.
He's playing. Yeah. You have to watch that. He may not play. I may have to play Cotton.
Don't you dare switch to my guy. Don't you dare. If you pivot, you better pivot to somebody else.
I won't. Hold on. Let's just make sure I know who I could pivot to. If I don't, I'll play Irv Smith.
All right.
And I could also play Evan Ingram, which I won't do that though.
Okay.
Cole Kmet's right there too. It says Will Dissly. I can
Any
play
of those guys.
Okay.
Any of those guys.
No. So if Logan Thomas plays, it's gonna be Logan Thomas. If Logan Thomas doesn't play, it's gonna be Big Country Will Dissly.
Yeehaw!
And then at my flex, $5,500, Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
He's
Good volume play.
Yeah, he's going to get volume. The Panthers have been bad. I really believe the 49ers are going to shut out the Panthers, and so I think he's just going to get a lot of work, and I think he's going to score this weekend. And then, like I was just saying, I think the 49ers are going to shut out that Carolina team. I've got the 49ers as my defense.
What'd they cost you?
$3,800.
Ooh, that is $1,300 more than Dallas.
I spent up.
Actually,
I said
that's
that. I spent up for my defense. I spent up on my quarterback and my number one receiver.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
And you took values everywhere else.
Yes, I did. I took value with the only person who's not getting volume.
Just value with good floors.
Value with good floors. The only person not getting volume that I selected was Elijah Moore. Moore. I do feel like Elijah Moore is kind of a dart throw, but based on what I have seen, he's still getting open. He's still an important part of the offense, and Zach Wilson is the type of quarterback who can find him. Like he's gonna go. He knows his offense. He's gonna go through his progressions. If Elijah Moore's open, he'll find him.
All right, good third place lineup. Go ahead. Ray, go ahead.
I'm sorry. How many points did you score last week? You might be getting drunk.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking
1 week.
Speaking of places, right now I can still brag about my DraftKings. I've won
Ray's been
3 out of
killing it.
4.
Ray has been killing it. Oh, I got to ask you though. How did you start Hawkinson in your DraftKings and not in your lineup in our league? How did you do that? How did you do?
I'll be right back.
Hey, even if I did start him,
Still
I would have
lost.
still would
I
have
know
lost.
it's crazy.
Okay, so let's start it up. I'm going to go with Jared Goff at my quarterback. They're playing against New England, and I just think
How much did he cost?
he cost us $6,100.
Okay.
Madison, Minnesota for running back. Robinson, I just think Jacksonville's going to do pretty good.
You think Dalvin
He's-
Cook's going to get hurt? Is that why you? How much
Is
was
that why I picked Madison?
How much was Madison?
Madison was 6,400.
That's too much.
You think so? Okay, well, we'll see.
Well, Alvin Kamara is 6,600 this week. So there's no way I would pay 6,400 for Madison if Kamara was 6,600.
We'll see. Okay, well, I'm not. Hey, he could underperform against Kamara. But the idea is the total performance.
I swear to God, the crazy calls that you've had in DraftKings so far makes me think that Dalvin Cook's actually going to get hurt now. Anyway,
Okay, so we're at Davis for the New York Giants. I'm sorry, New York Jets. New York Jets.
Corey Davis. Yes. So, oh yeah, that's a great pick. So I
5,100.
he was only 5,100.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
No.
Yeah.
Hey, sucker. No.
Yeah.
No. Hey, you can't do that.
Yeah, I didn't know he was only 5,100. Sorry, guys. Because I had exactly $100 left over on my DraftKings, and Elijah Moore was 5,000. So there's no I don't want to I want to put good information out.
Okay, go for it.
Out to people. So there's no reason to start Elijah Moore over Corey Davis. So I didn't know he was $5,100. That was an oversight on my part. Corey Davis is a much better start. The thing is when Wilson did get into trouble, Corey Davis was the guy that he looked for.
Okay. So, and that honestly, that pick was just because you've been so high on the Jets
I love the
this
Jets,
season,
dude.
and they're
I
going
love
against
them.
Miami, and I know that, you know what, I thought that was a really pretty good start. And then Evans for Tampa Bay, Metcalf. I just feel like it's going to be a good Seattle. They're going to. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're going to target Metcalf, right? So Hawkinson again, paired with Goff, right, against New England. They're going to have to do that.
Nice stack.
And then to save some money, I went with Beasley.
He retired.
Flex.
He retired this week.
Why is he still in here?
Pick somebody else.
All right, hold on. Let's just edit that real quick. Oh, you know what?
So,
Kay Phillips for Tennessee.
just-
Actually,
a joke.
Phillips is a
The
really
reason
good-
so
that's a-
Ray
that's
put
a nice
Ray
replacement.
put Cole Beasley in his lineup just so we could talk about how Cole Beasley retired this week. So Tampa Bay has their weapons coming back.
Yep.
Godwin is back fully, and Julio Jones is supposed to play, and Gage is good to go. And now Cole Beasley decided it's time to be with his family.
It's like, well, you know what? Since they're about to cut me, I think, you know what? I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can't fire me. I quit.
exactly.
Well,
But Phillips is a
geez.
very nice replacement, actually. I think Phillips is somebody that we forgot
Kyle
to mention
Phillips.
earlier. Yeah.
Yes, because of Treylon Burks being
Yeah,
injured.
exactly.
But the reason I didn't bring him up is because he's been nursing a shoulder injury, I think, and I'm not even sure if he's going to play. We're not 100% if Kyle Phillips is going to play.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and roll with Conklin then.
Yeah,
Jets.
Gronklin.
right.
That's a good
Conklin. And I wonder if
one. Dude, have
So
you seen
Conklin-
him? He's a beast. Oh, you did see him. You watched him beast your Steelers last week.
He did not.
He didn't do much. He didn't do much.
My God.
I can't. And then
This week sucks so much. I'm just like,
to close it off, I'm going to go with the Vikings for the defense.
They're playing the Bears?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
yep.
Yeah.
That's such a. I picked him up.
can't go wrong
I picked
there.
him up in so many of my leagues. So if you're streaming defenses, we haven't talked about that at all. And like I said this earlier, we haven't talked about kickers either.
Ugh.
Defenses too. So streaming defenses, the Vikings are a great play this weekend. They're available everywhere, and they're playing the Bears.
So, do we want to go questions or we want to go tournaments?
Oh, we have a question?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we have
questions
a
for
question.
sure.
No,
I
let's
just
get that.
real
They're
quick, like if you're talking defenses and kickers, you do want to pay attention. And I will say that you don't want to really pay attention until about week 3, week 4, and then when you start seeing trends, that's when you want to pay
The
attention.
kickers I disagree with. The defenses I agree with that. The kickers
Wow. See, the kickers, I think
the
it's
kickers
more
I don't
on
think
trend.
you see. I don't think you can go. I actually don't think kickers have trends because
No. Trends as in this offense is good and this offense is bad.
Okay,
that's
well,
what I'm talking
what I was
about
gonna.
when I
So
say trends.
when I like my kicker, I'm looking for a kicker. Like the reason I drafted Daniel Carlson in a lot of places this year is because Derek Carr is a guy who can move the ball
but not get it in.
and can't get it in. He struggles in the red zone. Like he's a chain mover, and he doesn't score touchdowns. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a team that is good offensively, that you think is going to struggle to score touchdowns.
That's why I started McManus last night.
High fives for that. And that's why I've been starting Brett Maher. That's why I moved to Brett Maher because the Cowboys with Cooper Rush
I agree.
are moving the ball and
And
struggling to
kick.
score. They're kicking field goals.
Absolutely.
And they're being more conservative because they've got a backup quarterback, which is also another thing you can look at.
All right, let's get these last minute questions in.
So, this is a continuation from the question that was asked about Swift, Montgomery, Mitchell, Stevenson, or Jefferson to get 2 solid wide receivers. The top 2 pairs possible that he sees are probably Godwin and Debo or Diggs and Amon-Ra.
I don't know if you could get.
I don't
Those are-
think you can get those two.
Yeah, those are two. Those are.
But if you
strong
can,
pairs.
that's great.
Yeah.
Like try for that.
Either of those.
And if you can get like that, and you have to add in a little something, then I'd be willing to do that too. Like honestly, those are great
Yeah.
targets. I'd love to get them. If you think it's possible in your league, please go for it.
I'm more on. I would be more after Diggs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But Debo is probably an easier guy to pick up because he disappointed the first 3 weeks, and I'm speaking as a Debo manager in our league.
I'd want to pick him
And
up.
I was patient and it paid off this last Monday.
Yep.
But it's entirely possible that the person who has Debo is 1-3. You know, that's possible.
And then the follow-up is Godwin and Debo, Diggs, and Amon-Ra or Devontae Adams and Waddle.
Okay, right.
Also
sorry?
Waddle and Tay.
I'm sorry. What's the question?
Godwin and Debo, Diggs, and Amon-Ra or Devontae Adams and Waddle.
This is for targets. Trade
I
targets?
think so. This is a follow-up. The same.
It's like
still
if you were
Wizzy.
like trade to offer. So
I like
Waddle and
Amon-Ra St. Brown
is on one side.
are really funny to me because I found that they have been together on so many rosters that I've seen. I have them together on a bunch of rosters. I have at least 4 teams that have both of those guys on them, and I don't know how that happened because they're
Just later round guys.
they're
That
well,
happens to
they were
happen.
they were both like mid-round guys, like in between rounds 4 and 6.
4 and 6, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I'm just thinking, it's just funny how like I've seen them paired together so many times, like in our league.
A lot
They're-
of weird things happen
they're-
between round 4 and 6
Yeah.
because so many people had so many different. Like, look at my team. Like, I picked up all these receivers that were between 4 and 6.
And so what I have come to is that I think that people saw Waddle and Amon St. Brown the same way, and they thought, and they were betting on one of them
right,
doing what they're doing.
and they're both.
And they're
great.
both doing it.
Yeah.
So like having Waddle and St. Brown on the roster together is just amazing. That was kind of a digression, but the reason I went through it was because that's where I would be. I love my rosters that have Waddle and St. Brown on them. That feels really good to have because those guys are just going to get a lot of work all year long. Like St. Brown is far and away Jared Goff's favorite target.
And then the last part of that was also Waddle and Tay. I'm not sure where that fits in. And then where we're from. We're from Cali. We're from California.
California.
Hoping to be able to bet legally here pretty soon. All right, so moving on to the tournament games. Brian, you're up.
Yeah, I'll go first here. Let's see here. Okay.
heading into the tournament, and reminder, like say tournament, you're gunning for the win. You're just trying to hit a home run here. So I am targeting one game that I really think is going to be awesome and above the rest. You know what I mean? There's 3 or 4 to choose from, but you just kind of have to pick one and go with it and like hope that's the game.
I think we're on the same game.
And the game I'm going with is Washington, Tennessee.
Nope.
Aha. So, I didn't think you got like I like to go with the obscure quarterback connection that
I do that a lot.
saves a lot of money, and then
I do that. I do that a lot. It's just my quarterback is like really cheap this week. So go ahead.
Mine too. 5,700. I'm going to take Carson Wentz. I saw the Wentz there. And,
Carson Wentz.
And I'm going to take him with Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. So I really think
can people see the board? Can people see the bet board? How many times?
No.
How many times?
McLaurin is up
he's
there a
bet,
lot.
Like this guy has bet on McLaurin more times than is like.
McLaurin is better than people think.
If I were like,
this guy is good. I'm just saying.
are you stalking him?
Maybe a little bit. no. Like I say, he is great. Like what he was able to do with bad quarterbacks, it just makes me think that he's going to be really good with decent and good quarterbacks.
I think he needs an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt. But
I'm sorry.
But this week against Tennessee, I think the Tennessee defense is hurting. I think they're going to give up points one way or another.
Their secondary sucks,
and that's what I'm saying. And with
I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
one of the top, who's out for Washington? It's
Dotson.
Yes,
Jahan Dotson's out.
So Dotson has been taking a lot of the same.
And Samuel is questionable,
right?
So he might get more targets.
So McLaurin is definitely going to get more targets. Whether he can do something with them or not, that's another story. But like I said, I really believe in that connection this week. I like the way it is, so I'm going to run it back with Derrick Henry. So I've got Derrick Henry running on one side. I got Wentz and McLaurin on the other. Going to my second running back, no surprise with Robinson. I really like James Robinson this week. That matchup is just amazing. Going to wide receivers, I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. Honestly, I really feel that your lineups should have either Amari Cooper or Nick Chubb. Like, if you don't have Chubb or Cooper, I feel like one of those guys is going to go off.
Every week.
Well,
and
not even
Chubb every week. Chubb every week.
But this week, definitely one of those guys is going to go off. I don't know which one, but one of those guys is going to go off. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper here. My other one is going to be Mike Williams. Like I say, if I got Cooper going off on one side, Mike Williams on the other.
I think if you're talking about that way about the Browns, I think you have to add Kareem Hunt.
No, he's definitely in consideration.
I think
yes.
he can easily go off and be the guy who scores 30 points on that team.
Absolutely. I think it's a little bit more likely if
the other two guys are more likely.
If Cleveland starts to run away with it, and then they kind of put in Hunt to
I love that. If Cleveland starts to run away with it, that's just like it's a Jacoby Brissett led team. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see it happening.
If Cleveland starts to run away with it, I'm sorry. It was just so funny. It was that was fun.
That's why I'm going where I'm going.
Jacoby's a good fit.
He is.
Hey, Jake Brisket. I love it.
So anyway, Mike Williams on the other side. You got to have somebody on the other side running it back. I think Mike Williams without Allen is going to be a good one to go with. Jeff Wilson, I'm going to go ahead and put him in my flex, and I just can't stay away from the Cowboys. The Cowboys at 2,500 is just super cheap.
I'm about to change my. I came up with a team name for my team for this year actually. Herbert them Cowboys. My quarterback is Justin Herbert. Yeah. I like it. I thought it was hilarious. Am I wrong? Is it not funny?
Well, I didn't know if it was Justin Herbert or Chicago Bears Herbert.
Oh no! I only have one of those players on my team. But yeah, my quarterback's Justin Herbert, and I have the Cowboys defense, the Cowboys kicker, and Zeke currently. So I was thinking about changing my name to Herbert and Cowboys.
I kind of like it. And my last one to throw out there is I am going with Cotton as my tight end.
Good old Cotton
again. Come on, Cotton. Come on, make it happen.
Every time you say Cotton, it makes me think of King of the Hill.
I know.
He's my favorite character. He's the best.
It was there.
Ray.
It was in my thought process.
Cotton's the best character on King of the Hill, right?
Okay,
it's either Cotton or Bobby.
So for those of you guys who don't know, I go to bed to King of the Hill every night. That's the show I go to sleep to. It puts me to sleep. Not because like it's boring. I love that show, and it manages to slow my mind down to the point where I'm just like watching one thing and I can pass out from exhaustion kind of thing. And as far as best characters for King of the Hill,
Is Dale Dale above?
Dell is so great, right? and the reason why Dell's great is because he is so ridiculously smart.
and stupid at the same time.
It's just channeled in a stupid direction.
Yes, because he's so oblivious.
He's so brilliant.
He's so brilliant and so completely oblivious at the same time. It is hilarious. But Cotton's my favorite character, like, because Cotton's the one that like he really just like shrinks Hank down.
Hank has his great moments because like that's a character that was developed so well that it's just like, yep, that's something he would do, right? Yeah. And another cartoon that has like really good like character development that's just like, yep, that's exactly what would happen is South Park.
I knew you were gonna say that
because like you'll see like your Butters characters are like, yep, that's such a Butters thing to do. Yeah. Like and when you find shows that like do that, then that's what makes shows magical. But anyway, I know. Back to DraftKings.
Good. So that means we're up for my tournament lineup, right?
Huh?
My tournament lineup, right?
Yes.
All right. For my tournament lineup, my quarterback's gonna be Tom Brady at $6,000. At running back, I'm gonna start Alvin Kamara at $6,600. James Robinson at $6,300. At receiver, we're gonna stack Mike Evans with Tom Brady. Mike Evans is $6,900. Where's Godwin is $5,900, and Godwin might be a better play.
That's why I have him in my lineup. But go ahead.
But it's just and the thing that gives me pause on playing Evans is that he just scored 2 touchdowns. Yeah. You know.
And he's so hit or miss. He really is.
But the thing is he does this. He scores chunks of touchdowns, and he's caught more touchdown passes than any other player in the last 3 or 4 years. Like he's a touchdown machine.
That's where he makes his hay.
And, and Brady looks for him, and he makes spectacular catches. So I love Mike Evans. Stacking back against Mike Evans and Tom Brady, I'm going to take Drake London, who's going to be extra targeted this week because there's no Kyle Pitts. At my third wide receiver, saving a little bit of money, $5,200, Robert Woods. Bobby Woods, Bobby Trees, against that horrendous Commanders defense. Man, they are god awful. And to stack back against that, I'm going to flex Terry McLaurin at $6,200.
Oh, yeah.
At tight end, I love my tight end. How he's this cheap, I have no clue. But for $4,300, you can play Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee is everything you want out of a number 1 tight end. Everything. He's getting number 2 wide receiver targets. Like they're looking for him in the red zone. It's awesome. It's great. And then at defense, $2,500.
How can you resist?
How can you resist those Dallas Cowboys coming after Matthew Stafford, who's got nobody to block for him?
So with that, I might as well just go from the bottom up, right? Because
you start with the Rams defense.
I'm going to start with the Cowboys defense, right?
Rams house.
Hey, so tournament. It's tournament. We're talking tournament. And
he's so sad right now. You look at him.
He looks like me picking against my Steelers earlier.
So my approach to tournament has always been worst case scenario, right? Like this is what's going to happen. So worst case scenario, Rams have an awful game, and the defense for the Cowboys is going to shine because of that. So Going down up, right? So my flex is Barrios for the New York Giants. That's a money saver pick.
Jets.
Yes. Hawkinson, because he was only 4,900. Mike Evans, or Evans again for Tampa Bay. This was my money spender. I spent money on Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, yeah.
And then Cooper from Cleveland. Pierce from Houston. Again, I rolled with Madison. And for my quarterback, I went with Wilson.
He thinks Dalvin Cook's going to get hurt.
I guess. And then Wilson is your quarterback?
Yeah.
Russell?
Russell
No,
Wilson?
no.
Zach Wilson. Oh, man.
He listened to you.
So you got to pair him with a receiver, though.
No, I think I'm good.
It's a tournament lineup. You got to pair him with a receiver.
I think I'm good with mine. Well, I think I would be more passionate about the tournament lineup if we started that at the beginning of the season. But we started like a few weeks in, so I kind of just like still learning it, So
If you were going to go with a main receiver for
So
Zach
we'll
Wilson,
talk
who'd
more
you go
about that
for?
afterwards.
okay.
For sure.
Questions.
Love questions.
This is again Wheezy. I'm thinking my two favorites have to be either Devontae Adams and Weedle or Diggs and St. Brown. Which duo do you guys prefer?
I prefer Diggs and St. Brown.
Two.
Waddle and Devontae.
Yep.
Yes.
I would take Diggs and St. Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. And if St. Brown is playing, like, you got to make sure, check that lineup.
No,
on
he's talking about
Sunday.
trading for.
Oh, it's trading for? Oh, I thought it was. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he,
Oh, okay.
this is
Yeah, yeah,
looking
yeah.
for trade
Oh,
advice.
no, I love that trade then, yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
Sorry.
yeah.
So that's it. You wanted to cover something about the tournament, like we just said it, and you said we need.
No, we'll talk like after we're done.
Oh, after we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's 11 o'clock. Let's.
Yeah.
all right, you guys. I think that's it. I think we covered everything. I think we answered all your questions. We're all caught up. Don't forget that we'll be on again next week.
Yep.
The 7:00 hour, either Friday or Saturday. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube. Ken, your plug, please, for your social media.
I am Ken Against the Clock on Instagram and Mr. Goodbet on Twitter. And anytime you want to ask me any questions, I love talking about football all the time.
And I'm Clouded Jester on everything.
And I hate social
And
media.
he's just Brian. He's sometimes Tequila Brian.
Yes.
Although actually he's 100% Tequila Brian this year so far.
Old Man Brian. You can just call me Old Man Brian. We'll go with that.
OMB.
Okay, so we got one last sneaking question.
Cool.
Bailey
Oh, sneak it
Zapping
in.
is good for DFS pick.
No.
Don't
against
start
the Lions
zapping.
D.
No.
Don't start zapping. No.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Eh-eh. Don't do it.
Yeah, he's got nobody to throw the ball to.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Thank you for the question.